Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Box Office Dynasty. We are your hosts. I'm Jack.
And I am Josh.
What's going on, Josh? How you doing, buddy?
I'm pretty good. How about you? How's things?
I'm good. Things are looking good. It's a beautiful day out. We got a beautiful episode. Um, a lot of movie news coming up. We're going to talk about the box office numbers of the week. You have a lot of movie news you wanted to share with me. You and I are going to review The Long Walk, the new movie based on the Stephen King book, and talk about some Emmy action. The Emmys were last night
No,
and 2 nights ago. Was it two
I know
nights
you.
ago? Really?
We say we were usually record on Mondays, but to be honest, we've been doing Tuesdays a couple times. So
Wait, the
no,
Emmys weren't last night.
the Emmys were Sunday.
Oh,
Award
dude,
shows are always Sunday nights. I feel
time
like
is a
is
mess
there?
for me.
I think that's been very evident lately on this show.
I
But
know.
do they ever do an award show any other day of the week besides a Sunday? Like
Is the
an
Oscars always a Sunday?
yeah, for sure, for sure. I just feel
Super
like
Bowl Sunday?
super. Yeah, I mean Sunday night. It makes sense because everybody's home. Like everyone's like, well, why don't they do a Friday night or Saturday night? But people go out. Like it's. I think it makes sense to do big televised events on Sunday nights because it's everyone's day off from work generally, and they're home.
Yeah, unless they run
Um,
late though, because then you have work in the morning on Monday. Like the Super
that's
Bowl
true.
sucks. The Super Bowl sucks being so late on a Sunday because it's like I want to drink, I want to give a good time, and then I have to go to work on Monday.
Yeah, but I mean, you can always like real ones just drink all day. But
That's
like I do
true.
advocate I think a lot of people advocate and it's a very American mindset, but that Super Bowl, the Monday after Super Bowl Sunday should be a national holiday.
It's like Christmas Eve and Christmas Day.
Yeah, like I
Yeah,
think we love our football here in America, and I think that we deserve to have that day off and just relax. And I mean, everyone watches the Super Bowl even if you don't like football. So I think I don't know, it
that's
kind of
true.
makes
It's the
sense,
same
but
thing with It's the same thing with New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. Like the New Year's Day, who gets off for New Year's Day?
right, like, well, that's true. Like, what really is the difference between New Year's and Super Bowl? It's a day that everyone's converged doing something, and they're staying up to do said thing, and then
Yeah,
the next day, they have to get up. Like, no, like, what's
yeah.
the difference? Like, New Year, it's a New Year. Super Bowl, we're all watching the big game, but like,
It's
it's
a new.
still,
It's about to be a new season.
yeah, facts. Actually, that's such a
Yeah.
good way of analyzing it or analogy. Um, but anyway, that's that. I just wanted to say quickly here at the beginning a couple things. One, I wanted to shout out congratulations to Sean Astin, who was just elected the new president of SAG-AFTRA. And the fun thing about it
Oh,
is he does so 37 years after his mother, Patty Duke, served in the same role. So
I
I
didn't
think
know
that's
that.
really cool.
Dude, I remember him from the Goonies, man.
Yeah, and your favorite, The Lord of the Rings.
I hate the
So
Lord of the Rings.
I don't know how we still have viewers, man. So, but congrats to Sean Astin. I think that's huge. I think he's going to be great in that role.
That's awesome.
So that's really cool. And then also just wanted to address something that I know has been on everyone's minds, this unfortunate passing that has occurred, and that is the passing of Robert Redford, of course. And Robert Redford was a icon, really, in terms of film and entertainment, because he was so established. He was a very well awarded actor. He won an Academy Award. He also had an honorary one, a BAFTA, 5 Golden Globes, the SAG Life Achievement Award. He won the Kennedy Center honors, the Presidential Medal of Freedom. He was a very accomplished actor and human being. Really, he was known for a lot of his films like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, The Candidate, The Sting, All the President's Men,
Yeah.
Out of Africa, and something
Personally,
you'd be more familiar with is the MCU.
I know him as Alexander Pierce in Captain America the Winter Soldier and Avengers Endgame. I loved him in that role, man. That's really all I know him from, and he was fucking fantastic as that villain.
My thing about Robert Redford is this. He was a fantastic performer, but a lot of his movies, and of course I'm not speaking about, Infinity War, Endgame, all that, but a lot of his movies were kind of boring,
Really?
unfortunately. Yeah, just like he would be great, but the stories in them were not always very interesting, always a little sleepy. I'm sure you would definitely agree if you saw a lot more of them. And I don't want to disrespect him. I know we're here to make a tribute, and like that's what I'm trying to say is he would be kind of the standout in most of his films because he was so talented, and yet I do think a lot of the content that he worked with just wasn't the most interesting.
So is your favorite Robert Redford movie Avengers Endgame?
I mean, Butch, pro- that's tough. I mean, it's up there though.
Because I know
It
you like
actually
Endgame
is
over
up
Winter
there.
Soldier, right?
I do, but
Okay.
I have grown on Winter
And that's
Soldier
that's a
in
hot take.
years. Yeah, but not like some of your hot takes, I would say.
No, and we'll get to some of those later, I think.
Yeah, but no, regardless, Robert Redford was an incredibly accomplished actor who's going to be very missed. We
Hmm.
just found out this news this morning
Yeah,
when
did you get the
waking up.
Apple alert, the
Apple
Apple
Alert?
News thing?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that's
So,
how I found out. I woke up to an
um,
Apple News alert.
imagine if we had recorded this yesterday and then we'd have to wait a whole week to talk about it. And, that's silly. But no, Robert Redford. Oh, yeah. And I'm just reading his biography. He was in Quiz Show. I forgot about that movie. Um, he also was a director, made his directorial debut with the family drama Ordinary People, which won 4 Academy Awards, and he went on to win Best Director for that. So,
Yeah.
rest in peace, Robert Redford. Just wanted to shout him out here on the pod. That's what we do for
Hmm.
legends who move on to the next phase of life, which is death. But that's
The
okay.
next phase of life is death. Okay.
Technically it is.
You're not wrong.
But anyway,
It's
so rest in
morbid.
peace. Rest in peace, Robert Redford passed away at the age of 89 today.
Hmm. Damn. All right. Uh, you're up, buddy.
Oh shit, let me pull these up actually. You're right.
We're gonna do some box office numbers.
Yeah, we are. With my internet turned off though. It takes a minute. I should have had them. Okay, no, I got them. Here we go.
So
So we
unprofessional.
Yeah, this is the guy who sits here and doesn't know like his right from left or like the big hand from the small hand on the
Yeah, I need to go
clock
like
or
this. Like, okay, this is
Okay.
left.
These are the box office numbers from the weekend of September 12th through the 14th. We're getting into fall here.
God
Holy
damn,
shit.
dude.
In 5th place, in its first weekend of re-release, is Toy Story, celebrating its 30th anniversary, making just under $3.5 million. In 4th place in its opening weekend from Lionsgate, making $11.7 million, is the new film The Long Walk. In 3rd place, in its first weekend of release, making a smidge over $18 million, is Downton Abbey, the grand finale. The third and final film from
Okay.
that franchise, also a television show. You know what's funny? I want to say real quick, when you go to the movies lately, sometimes an advertisement for a movie is like blended in with the AMC ad where they're like, don't use your phone or anything.
Yeah, yeah.
They did it for Sonic. They did it for Megan. And they did it for Downton Abbey. I don't know if you've seen that, like when you've gone the last few
I probably
times.
have.
It's like this old guy and this older woman, and they're like, "Save the tea for after the movie," and he's like holding tea, and it's like 2 teenagers like talking. Anyway, so
Maybe.
stupid. But in second place in its second weekend of release is The Conjuring: Last Rites, making another over $12.5 million. And I just want to say something real quick about The Conjuring here, with its box office numbers. So this movie is doing so well right now. We're going to talk a little bit about it again in a minute. But in terms of this franchise in the box office, I didn't take the liberty of looking at all the films in the Conjuring franchise, just the mainline films. But listen to this. The first Conjuring movie made 320.4 million globally in its entire run. The second one made 322.8 million globally in its entire run. The third one, Conjuring Devil Made Me Do It, made 206.4 million globally.
Uh-huh.
The Conjuring Last Rites through 2 weeks is at 332.7 million globally, meaning it's already the
Damn.
highest grossing Conjuring film of the franchise.
That's a jump, dude.
So people are coming out in waves for this one.
Also, people don't like the third one, so it's kind of surprising that they'd go see the fourth one after the third one was not as good.
I genuinely just think it's because it was pitched as the final one.
Yeah.
And so
yeah,
everyone was
probably.
like, I need to see the end of this franchise that we've been watching for a long time. I mean, the first one came out in 2013.
Yeah.
So here we are all these years later. So I thought that was really interesting about The Conjuring. And then in first place in its first weekend of release, making over $70.6 million, Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba Infinity Castle.
It's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful. Obviously, neither of us are anime people here, anime fans, but I'm gonna shout them out.
Did you get that title right, or did you completely butcher
No,
it?
I got it right. I looked it up before recording to make sure I would get it right,
Nice,
so I
okay.
didn't butcher it. Because otherwise I would have. I would have been
100%.
like, no. I'm gonna shout out the anime fans real quick here because they came out in droves to support what I mean, I don't know anything about Demon Slayer, but I looked into this a little bit. This seems to be almost like the end game for Demon Slayer a little bit,
Oh,
and
that's
it's like
cool.
this big climactic event for anime. And so it's no surprise that they're coming out in droves here and supporting the film and that it topped the box office this weekend. So I'm just shouting them out. We don't know much about it. We don't talk about it here, but it's still cool to see that have some kind of financial success.
Yeah, neither of us are like anti-anime. I know we both tried to get into it, but it's just not for us. But I am happy that anime fans have movies that are seemingly and TV shows that are just amazing because all I hear about is how good anime is. And I've tried it, it's just not for me, but I'm glad that there's something out there that they enjoy that much.
It's like my friend Ben. Shout out Ben, I love you, buddy. But he keeps trying to get a bunch of us to watch One Piece. He loves One Piece, and I feel like One Piece is one of these shows where like that if you watch One Piece, that's what you watch. Like, and he's one of those people, like he watches other
Forever.
stuff, but like that's what you watch. Like that is a lifetime contract. One Piece.
Are there like 1,000 episodes or something?
Yeah, I feel like it's a scam. I gotta tell you, Ben, and all you One Piece fans out there, you're never gonna find out what the One Piece is. There is no One Piece. It's a scam.
No, there might be two of them.
There could be 10 pieces. There are no pieces, okay? The piece, you're the One Piece. You, the fool at home watching years and years of this show, are the One
true
Piece.
One Piece was the friends we made along the way.
Yeah, it feels like a fucking kick in the nuts, but
Yeah,
what do I know?
damn, dude.
We're not anime fans, but I agree. We're not anti-anime, so congrats to Demon Slayer for winning the box office this week. So those are your box office numbers for the weekend of September 12th through the 14th. And that does bring me, before we get into some movie reviews, I just wanted to talk a little piece of news. Speaking of The Conjuring and the success that we highlighted in the last segment with its box office run, so much for it being the final Conjuring. And I know you said it. You called it last week. You did call it. They announced 2 new projects in this universe going forward. One, a TV series for The Conjuring is going forward. Stupid phone. I'm trying to pull up the showrunner. The showrunner is Nancy Won. She also worked on Supernatural and Jessica Jones. So she is set to serve as the showrunner for this new Conjuring TV series moving forward. That's all the information that we have about it so far at HBO Max.
Yeah, I knew this was going to happen. I mean, you don't have a successful franchise like this end off on its highest note and be like, well, that's it. We made the most money we could have. No, you still make more. And It's not like Mission Impossible, because that's what I kept thinking of when you kept saying it's the final one, it's the final one. It's not like Mission Impossible, where Mission Impossible is like only Tom Cruise and only Ethan Hunt can do it and his team. They established a whole universe with The Conjuring, so you can easily make prequels. You can make TV shows. You can make movies like Annabelle and The Nun, where it's set in the same universe, just at different times and different places. You can't do that with like a Mission Impossible, where it's like the final one. But The Conjuring, they established themselves to the point where they can do whatever the fuck they want, whenever they want.
And I'm cool with that. I just think at a certain point you have to let the characters of Ed and Lorraine Warren alone.
Well, are they
And
going to be in it?
Well, the other thing they announced was a Conjuring prequel movie that I think is supposed to be set around the Warren family. I just don't know that that's necessary anymore, especially with the information we get in the Last Rites movie. So, you know, I'm cool with them exploring all the supernatural elements of the Conjuring universe. Obviously, we saw a lot with Annabelle. We've seen The Nun. There's a lot of different things they can explore there. But in terms of the actual Warren family, like, I don't know. I feel like that story's been told to its completion. So at this point, maybe you're milking that a little bit. But otherwise, I'm cool with them exploring more in this. I just think they're done with the mainline Conjuring. And even the prequel's not mainline. Like, I don't know that you're going to see Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga ever come back.
That kind of reminds me, just to compare to movies that I've seen,
Yeah.
of the Skywalker saga, where everyone's kind of like, can we move away from the Skywalker family and go to a different time or a different place? You know what I mean? And that's what it sounds like. They're kind of sticking around with the Warren family, the Warren
And
saga.
it's almost even more of a nuisance in this case because these were real people. This is, the
Yeah,
Skywalkers
that's
weren't a
true.
real family. Like, this was a real family. How much more can you take creative liberties out of characters that are based off of real people? So,
Yeah, that's crazy.
just a food for thought, I guess, with that. But The Conjuring saw the money come in, saw that they topped their global input after only 2 weeks, and said, well, line up the projects, baby. This franchise isn't going anywhere. So
Like,
that's,
psych.
yeah, last rights, more like first rights. We're just getting started.
Yeah,
So
for real.
that's The Conjuring.
You and I both saw The Long Walk recently.
We did. We took a walk over and we saw The Long Walk.
Yeah, we did. So we're gonna review it. We're gonna rate it. We're probably gonna argue about it.
I,
Um,
I think you just hate movies,
I
but
love
okay.
movies. All right, all right. Stop. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Do you
Jump the
want to go
gun.
first, or do you want me to go first, or?
Uh, we could just pick. We could let Marty pick. We could let Willie pick. We got a lot of options at our disposal.
I think Marty. I think we need to give Marty his flowers. I think he needs to pick today.
Let Marty come back.
Yeah,
All
and you
right.
call it.
I'm calling it.
Yeah, you call it.
I'm gonna say tails because I know you're giving me that look. You're
Nice
like
try, buddy.
it's always heads, but I'm gonna say tails because this is a movie about walking, and that's closer to your legs than your head. So
Okay. None of the characters have tails, by the way. They all have heads.
yeah, but
Until they don't. But
spoilers. This is for The Long Walk. Hey, tails.
Whoa. All right.
Tails.
All right. So
Thank you, Marty.
here are our reviews and ratings of The Long Walk.
I gave this movie 9 tank showers out of 10.
Okay. I give this movie 7.5 miles per hour out of 10.
I was thinking of doing a miles related thing. I was going to do 9 miles out of 10, and I was like, well, that's actually not that bad compared to what they did in the movie. Like,
Yeah, they did like
It's
500 or like
yeah, they
1,000
did
or
like
something.
no, they didn't do it. I think it was like 300 something miles.
Oh, really?
But, I'd like to see you walk 300 some miles without stopping from a 3 mile per hour pace. So
Yeah. No, it was a good movie. It was enjoyable. I think we're just gonna go into spoilers, right? Or no?
yeah, okay. So first let me describe the movie real quick to anyone out there who doesn't know. The Long Walk is a movie. It's a Stephen King adaptation. Actually, fun fact while I bring him up, did you know The Long Walk is the first story Stephen King ever started writing? It's not the first
No.
one. It's not the first one he published, but this is the first one he ever started working on.
Okay, I didn't know that.
So he was like a teenager
Yeah.
when he wrote this. But anyway, that's just a fun fact. So it's a Stephen King adaptation, basically about this dystopic America where basically every year all 50 states have to send forward like it's basically a candidate that's picked through a lottery, and they're like voluntary, quote unquote voluntary,
Uh-huh.
and the 50 people basically have a contest where they have to walk, and they have to keep a 3 mile per hour pace, and they can't stop walking. And basically, if they do, or if they slow off that pace, they get a warning, and 3 warnings, you get a ticket. And since we're getting into spoilers, a ticket is a fucking bullet to the fucking eyeballs, fucking head.
Yeah.
So, and if you step off the pavement, you get an immediate ticket, no warning. So that's basically what the movie's about. And we focus on 2 characters, Raymond Garrity and Peter McVries, played by Cooper Hoffman and David Johnson. So that's basically what the movie is like highlighted. Oh, and it's directed by Francis Lawrence.
Yeah, and those performances were great.
Yeah, I mean, that was
Ex-
kind of the central pull of the movie in a lot of ways, was Cooper Hoffman and David Johnson,
yeah.
because to me they each served such a genuine purpose in the
Uh-huh.
film. Like Hoffman really grounded and was like a rock for a lot of ideas in this film, and I feel like, especially because it's such a one setting kind of film with just this monotonous walking in this desolate landscape, it's almost like us, the audience, can get our own version of highway hypnosis watching it.
Yeah.
But like his performance, Hoffman, really keeps us kind of steadied on a path and focused. And Johnson, on the other hand, breathes a lot of life and beauty into what is such, like I said, a desolate and bleak film. And he's just such a budding star between Alien Romulus, and I believe he was in something else that I saw recently. I guess I can't pin, no, I don't, well, but he is kind of this budding star, and I
Yeah.
thought they were both like the driving force.
The way that Cooper Hoffman's character Ray Garrity reacts to things, like people getting their fucking heads blown off. So by the way, this is spoilers for The Long Walk. We're going into spoilers. Um, the way he reacts is how we as the audience are reacting. I mean, every time someone died, the movie was so good with the suspense and the shock of a death. You knew that 49 of these people were going to die, or you at least expected it. And I was still shocked and uncomfortable every time someone died. That is my biggest positive of this movie.
You know what, though? Like, it's funny you say that, because there's one line from the movie actually that really resonates with me in regards to that idea. And it's after the first death, the kid Rank.
Yeah, yeah.
So basically, Rank dies because
Oh wait,
of, I
wasn't the
forget,
first death the little kid?
wasn't his name Rank?
No, Rank was the guy who the blonde guy made trip and
Yeah,
fall when they tried to
killed. I
punch him.
thought that was the first one.
No, the kid who got a Charlie horse, like the 14-year-old or whatever.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Okay. Well, that's what it was. The line still was the line I'm thinking
It
of,
was
but
the
it was
first
with that
guy?
one.
Okay.
It was the first guy. I
Yeah.
just thought the first guy was Rank, but you're right. It was the kid with the Charlie horse. He dies, and he's talking, Rafferty and McVries, and
Garrity.
Garrity. I thought it was Rafferty. Garrity was like, talking about it getting easier. And like
Yeah.
McFreeze was like, I don't want that to get any easier. Or he says, I hope that doesn't get any easier. And Garrity was like, that's the thing I'm afraid of, that it will
Yeah,
get
no,
easier.
yeah, you almost got that right.
Was it the other way around?
McVries, was it McVries, whatever his name is?
Yeah.
Um, he says, "I'm hoping every time that gets easier," and then Garrity says, "See, I'm hoping that it doesn't. Like, I'm afraid that it doesn't. Like that. Like he says he hopes it gets easier, and then he says, I'm scared that
Yeah,
it will.
yeah, okay, that's what it
Like that.
was. Yeah. But that's the quote that resonates in terms of, this film, like, and that idea of death and the impact it has on the characters and the audience.
I will say I enjoyed this movie. I get a 7.5. I didn't like it as much as you. One of my negatives was the dialogue. I thought the dialogue, not all of it, but there were so many moments where I thought it was super campy and very clearly an author wrote them and not things that anyone would actually say. Like all the characters had some poetic speech that they gave, and I was like, who the fuck actually talks like that? You know what I mean? It just felt, it actually took me out of the movie sometimes when like Olsen, the little Asian kid, the karate kid, um, he's in the new Karate Kid movie. That wasn't like a racist thing for me to say. He is the Karate Kid.
No, yeah, I remember
Okay.
him. He was also in that show that I never finished on Disney Plus, American Born Chinese.
But he has this line that's like, this is just an example of it being just a weird line that nobody says, but like, he's like, there's three great truths in the world: a good screw, a good meal, and a good shit. And like, nobody fucking talks like that. There's so many moments when McVries has a poetic moment. They even make fun of him. They're like, "What are you, a poet? What are you, a poet?" That's fine because maybe he is a poet. There, Garrity has these poetic lines that he says. It's like, of course, the main character would say that, but it's like, who actually talks like that? Even the athlete guy is like, "Your friend's the donkey. Your other friend's the carrot. What's gonna happen when the donkey stops chasing the carrot?" I'm like, what the fuck are you even talking about right now? I just thought watching it that this was so obvious that it was taken from the book and not something that anyone would actually say. It was very obviously like not adapted for screen, which is fine to get exactly from the book, but it's something that nobody would say. It took me out a little bit.
I get that, but I don't that I mean, I don't agree that it took me out because it's a Stephen King adaptation and that's how Stephen King characters talk. And like if
Yeah,
you
but that's
I
how
don't I
like
feel like if you look at any of his other adaptations, like the first thing that I immediately thought of because it's such a similar kind of ish concept from him is Stand By Me. And I feel like there's kind of proclamations from younger characters in that as well. And that's not really a complaint that I feel like I hear from that. So I don't know. Like these are older characters too. I get what you're saying, but they also do have their moments where they're like, oh, he's pissing, he's shitting. Like I don't want the whole movie to be that because they're like, I like that they are characters that are from such a fucked up world that they're forced to have more mature mindsets at younger ages. And that's how I take it. But at the same time, like if you look at this from an outside narrative perspective, it's the very first work of King. So obviously it's rough around the edges. Maybe could have used a little sanding down like in the script, sure. But overall, like I do think they live in such this twisted reality that like they had to grow up sooner and right, maybe some of it's a little facetious, but I don't know if it took me personally out of
well,
it.
like you look at characters like Yoda or like even like Red from like the Shawshank Redemption, like they're made to be these wise characters and not everyone in those movies talks like that. But like there are times in this movie where I was like, are these all either Yoda or like a baby? Because like they talked like, oh, he's taking a shit, ha ha ha, and then they'd spew like this insane line that's like written by a poet of like the 1930s. You know what I mean? Like, and it's so up and down. It's like there was no middle ground for me for many of the characters where I was like, this character's relatable because they're either acting like a child or acting like a 70-year-old man.
Yeah,
And
I
then
don't agree with that to say that there were no relatable characters.
Garrity, I thought was relatable, and that was pretty much it because we're seeing things through his perspective. And I think everyone else was just like completely like I don't
It's
know,
the
just
same.
like
There was
on
nothing
ends of
to
it.
there. You couldn't find any relatability in McVries as a character. Is kind of nuts when the whole central ending comes around to his character, and that was the whole point in the first place to say that there's no relatability there.
Well,
I
maybe I
don't know
needed
with
to
his
see more of the world.
messaging. Maybe, but I
I don't know
feel
how
like
they why they're like this or how he
I don't
talks
think you
about it,
need to
but like
know why they're like it. Really, they're like, yeah, there's a war. I agree. Well, part of why I took a little bit of a rating off is that I think there is a little bit of a wishy-washy, but I don't think you need like obviously there's a lot of similarities to the Hunger Games in terms of like the
right.
dystopian idea of children having to battle out some gruesome competition for financial gain. It's very, uh dystopian and capitalistic. But I, and it also makes sense because Francis Lawrence actually ironically directed most of the Hunger Games movies. But
Mm.
um, you know, I don't know. I feel like unlike Hunger Games where you get so much lore, I don't know that you really need that much lore for what is obviously a very central focus story on these characters and this walk and just the meaning behind it. Like, could we use a little more? Maybe. I'm not going to say no, but I don't think we need to spend so much time learning exposition about it either.
I don't think we needed lore or like history, but I wanted to see what the world looked like now. Like in the Hunger Games, I think they
I
do it
think we
really
do
well
though.
when they show us people watching on their TV. They show us how people are reacting to the Hunger Games, how people are reacting when they get picked and stuff like this. And in this one, I thought it would have been cool to see people watching, see how they're reacting. Are they placing bets on these people? Do they care if they live? Do they care if they die? We see one girl root for Garrity in the first 10 minutes and like that's it. Like,
We see a whole crowd of people at the end, and they said that was they like explicitly state in the rules that there's no spectators
right, but I would
until
have
the end. So we see them though, they're cheering and there's fireworks. So we know how they feel about the competition by
well,
that
we know how
alone.
that one crowd feels who shows
That
up, but
crowd,
like,
I mean, they consistently say the whole nation is watching. You can make you can make the assumption like, okay, based on the fireworks and the cheers and the majors stating that the whole nation's watching, like they care about this. And they even talk in the film about how the people in the nation are conditioned to think this is the only way. Like that's a whole plot point of the
I
movie.
know, but it's not really a plot point. They just talk about it. Like there's nothing, it's just like it's a plot point, but they just have a 2-minute conversation about it.
But the whole movie is supposed to be them talking about these circumstances and how we can break beyond that while we watch this gruesome thing play out before us. It's not supposed to be big and cinematic and fanfare. That's what I appreciate about this movie. It's kind of similar to Warfare, which came out back in March. I liked the Long Walk a little more, but both of them were just very brutally honest and upfront and didn't need all the fanfare around it to make the point that they were making. It was this is the reality. This is what's laid out. It wasn't perfect. There were a little bit of issues, but to say that they don't get that point across or anything, or like that they don't show this world and how, I mean, we see how desolate it is. I think the fact that we don't see riches, we don't see, people with all that glory, it's out there, but we see what we need to see, which is the people struggling and poor and scattered and isolated.
Right, but I kind of just assumed that was just that road. I mean, I don't know what the world looks
They
like. I mean,
walked
I mean,
300 something miles.
but
I
look at
mean,
Garrity's. He has a when his dad was alive in the flashback. I mean, he's in a nice looking house. He's got a home cooked meal in front of
it's
him.
like a nice enough, you can't really tell much. They're in like one or two
That's what I'm
rooms.
saying, though. I have no inkling of why anyone has done what they did, and like, I kind of feel like
But they
everyone who joined this thing is a
statewide.
dumbass. Like, because
Well,
I don't
no, but they
know what
make
I
it
don't.
clear that they basically don't have a choice to. It's
I
the
know,
whole
but
thing is
show
supposed to be
me,
about
don't tell
state-sponsored
me.
propaganda.
Like they're
Uh,
just telling me everything, and I'm like, I would love to picture at least one of the things they're telling me, and I just can't. Even the flashbacks, the only scene we have of the outside world besides that road is a pretty nice looking place. It doesn't
yeah,
look
but you
terrible.
want my opinion? I don't even think we should have had the one flashback.
I think
I think the movie should have really committed to just being this. We are on this road with these people. That this is the like think of it as almost like a bottle episode, but a movie. This is where
well, I
we are.
agree.
This is what we're learning. Like we learn about this world through our characters. We can't see other stuff because we don't live in the world. We can only know what we know based on what our you know narrators are telling us, and whether they're reliable or not we determine for ourselves, but
I agree
that's
with
how
what
we
you're
take it
saying.
in.
Because I do think that the one flashback bothers me more than having none, because at least they'd be committed to being like, we're not showing you the world. You have to, imagine it for yourself. You have to go based on what they say. But having the one flashback shows me that they're not unwilling to show the world and show people's lives and individual lives. They're just kind of just not doing it for some reason.
The reason is that we have to build it ourselves. There's a little introspective work at play, and I agree. I guess we agree about the flashback, a little awkward in there. I agree
Yeah.
with that, but I think it's a lot easier to pull out the one scene and commit to the bit than have to fill in all this other clutter to try and explain and show us different things and have us commit to this feeling of this terribly gruesome long walk. So I get the thing with the flashback, but I think it'd be easier to just pull back instead of pull forward in this
I
case.
do speaking of how gruesome it was, I do appreciate how gruesome it was. I heard that Stephen King, before the movie was even, like, in production, he said, "This movie's not being made unless you show the deaths." Like, he said, "I want close-ups, I want blood, like, you have to show the deaths," and he said something about I think he said superhero movies. He's like, oh, a superhero will fly in and save the day, and buildings will collapse and everything, and there'd be no blood. That makes no sense. Like, you need to show the realism of it. And the first scene when that kid got shot in the face, you could see his whole inside of his mouth. You could see his teeth and his like
Yeah,
tongue. Like, I do respect and appreciate how gruesome they went right from the beginning.
I agree. I was expecting it to be bleak, but I wasn't expecting it to be that gruesome and
Yeah,
right off the bat and with a kid that young. And just the timing of this movie's release in general, it was just very shocking in a good way in terms of just that shock value and the impact and the effect that it had. And it worked. It translated very well, I think. And I saw that this movie was going to be willing to take those kinds of risks. And
yeah.
not every movie is willing to get to that next level, and show that and have that impact. But
I
this one did.
it really set the stage for like me to be nervous every time someone was
Mm-hmm.
on the chopping block, you know? Because I really thought that they'd kind of show the person about to get shot and then go to the main characters, and then you'd hear the gunshot in the background most of the time. They did that a couple times for the characters that weren't really important, but
Sure, they had to
for
brush through.
exactly, there's 50 of them.
Mm.
But, it was kind of crazy when that first shot went off. I was like, holy shit, this is the movie we're watching.
Yeah, and the scene when Art goes back where Hank is after
I,
Hank is
oh,
toast, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like, what are we're gonna about to see something so terribly sad and gruesome, and
yeah.
we're watching kids, like, teens, young adults getting just like massacred in front of us on screen. Very indicative and very telling, this story of like kind of the climate that we live in, and that they're willing to be that visceral with it
Yeah, I was
on
ready
the
to
big
watch Art get his
screen.
head blown off.
Yeah. So, and his ending too, obviously, when he's ready to give up and, they're kind of trudging him along is very sad. The whole cast was just so great, man.
What'd you think of the ending?
Oh, well, I heard they changed it from the book. I'm
Okay.
pretty sure Garrity wins in the
No
original
way,
ending.
really?
Yeah. Which is like that's what I was here's the thing. It was when that was starting to play out, it felt very obvious. Right?
Uh-huh.
Like because earlier in the movie, McVrees was like, "Oh, I think when I'm tired and ready, I'll just sit down and stop." So I
Yeah.
was like, "Okay, that moment is going to come." Like from that, when he said that, I was like, "That moment is going to come at some point in this
Mhm.
movie." And so when they reached the end, we knew it's going to be obviously the two of them are going to be the last two. It's very obvious,
Oh, yeah,
it's
we knew
what
that from the
it's
beginning. I
leading
placed
towards.
bets with my friend before the movie started, and I said we left the movie, we let it go 5 minutes until we met the other characters, and within the first, like, minute of meeting everybody, he said that that Stebbins, the athlete, was gonna win, and I said that McVrees was gonna win.
Wow, so you called McVrees.
Yeah, and
And
because
so
I thought it was too obvious for Garrity to win.
I agree. It's just because he was our central character, he's the first character we meet. I was like, well, all right, and he wins in the original story. So, but I agreed. It felt very obvious, and so when he pulled the switcheroo, I was like, wow,
Yeah, well, I
that
thought
that was.
McVrees was when McVrees was standing back, I was like, "Oh fuck, it was Garrity," and then they swapped it around. I was like, "Oh shit, I was right."
Yeah, and then the moment, because I think here's the thing, like obviously it comes down to what's the point of the story, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, the point of the story isn't so much hope because you know what the last line of the book is? It's so
No.
cool. I don't think they had it in the movie, I'm pretty sure. And I wish it was the last line somehow. You know how in the movie he turns around and there's still so much road
Yeah.
ahead? Maybe he does say it in the movie. I don't know. Where he was like, there's still so much walking, there's still so much road to walk, or still so much walking ahead. It's something to that effect. And just really strikes me. Like, it really hits, because the idea that we just watched these guys go through the most gruesome, like, obviously they're walking hundreds of miles, they're in pain, they're pissing and shitting themselves, they're watching people around them get shot in the head, and the idea that, like, you come to the end and you're the winner, but it's supposed to be this, like, and that's why I like that McVrees wins, because it's supposed to be the vengeance wins in the end, because he has this whole thing about, like, vengeance doesn't win, like, there's hope, but it's supposed to be beating him down by the end, and he turns around and there's so much road left. Like, he does all this walking, he thinks he can finally rest and do better in the world, only to realize he has so much more walking to do.
Well, he's
I
dead, right?
Who?
McVrees dies at the end, right?
Well, that's unclear.
I'm assuming he does. Because,
That's
like,
an interpretation.
I mean, if he doesn't, the movie's dumb. I mean,
Not
the major literally says, "Everyone, don't shoot. Put down your weapons. He's not going to kill me."
right, but they also
And then he
say
kills him. They're not going to let him walk away, and there's
right,
nobody
but they
there
also
anymore.
say earlier in the movie, it's never when Garrity is trying to do that and explain why he wants to do that to McVrees. He's like, no one's ever done it before. It's unprecedented. You don't know what's going to happen. And I like that we don't find out what actually happens.
Right, but everyone, like, disappears. I'm pretty sure that was him, like, walking to heaven or something.
That's an interpretation, sure, but I
Yeah.
don't know that you can definitively say that that's what happened.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, if he is alive, then that's a stupid ending. Everyone just watches him walk away after he killed someone right in
Well, they're
front of
not like,
them.
well, first of all, shock. Second of all, because he's the winner, he's supposed to be this really powerful person within the world now. So, like, what does that? He gets the wish. Like, what does that transpire?
Well,
You
they
know what I
already
mean?
when he already wished though, and they all had their guns aimed at him. Like he literally said, "Don't shoot, don't shoot." Like he's not gonna shoot me. Like they had their guns aimed at him, and then they just don't shoot him. Like
I
he's
just
he's
think you're
100%
focusing on
dead.
the wrong. Maybe, but I don't think you can say that for sure. That's what happens at the end there.
I just
I
hope it
think
happens because otherwise
I
I'm going down a point. Like that's so
okay,
dumb if he
but that's
lives.
there is no answer. That's the point. It's left up to the interpretation of the viewer.
Right,
And,
because they
like, for
don't.
me, it doesn't even matter whether he lives or dies, because what the point of the ending is that his character was broken down, and whether that's him walking to heaven or hell, or him just continuing to walk life, like, maybe he doesn't get shot, maybe he gets arrested, maybe his life sucks, but that's the point. Like, he said it earlier in the movie, like, I've been walking my whole life, which he's saying my whole life's been a battle, my whole life I've been fighting, and the
Yeah,
whole point is, like, you still got a lot more fighting to do. Just because you kill the major, just because this happens, just because you win, none of it matters. Like, there's still so much road left. This world will keep beating you down. That's the purpose that I, as a viewer, gathered. And so whether he dies or not is irrelevant, and that's why I'm glad there's no definitive answer to it.
I kind of have another negative now that we're talking.
You fucking hate movies. You
No,
actually fucking
listen,
hate
this
movies.
makes sense. I think that he shouldn't have killed the major. I think it
Why?
was stupid because one, he let what's his name? Garrity sacrifice himself. He not let, but Garrity sacrificed himself so that because he realized it was wrong to be vengeful. It was wrong to be violent. You go save all those kids you're talking about. You can win and use your wish to save those kids. And then he uses his wish to do exactly what Garrity would have done. If I was Garrity, I'd be looking down and being like, "What the fuck? I could have lived and done it
But that's
myself."
the point. It's not a happy ending. It's supposed to be a bleak and sad ending. They kind of swap. Garrity realizes that, through this McVrees was right, but McVrees' spirit was broken down, and the sacrifice that Garrity's supposed to be doing is the final straw that breaks the camel's back for McVrees, where he is now a broken individual at the end. That swap is the purpose. It's not supposed to be this happy ending where he goes and saves everyone and that's it.
But no, I know, but I don't think there was enough buildup of that because the entire movie was
Really?
the entire movie was McVrees being the happy-go-lucky. Even when people were dead and it was just the two of them left, he was like, "No, we're getting through this together. Like we're doing like blah blah." And then I guess his best friend died. I get it. Of like
He
the
even
last 3
talks,
days.
though, not long before that, about how hard this actually is, like how much it's
I know,
struggling for him. Like,
but he talks the whole time about how like I'm gonna save these kids. Like that is my goal. I'm gonna get this win. I'm gonna wish to save these kids. And then he just gives up on it in the last like 2 minutes of the film. And I was like, that's dumb.
I don't know. I think you think too many things are dumb. I think you look at things through your own logic of like where you are in the chair of your life. Like his
No,
spirit, dude, he walked
based on
300
how
something
he
miles. He
acted the
saw all
entire
his.
movie.
I think based on how it made people break though. He was trying to maintain a positive spirit. Doesn't mean he can't break and turn. And then what he saw in that moment, it was fulfilling and avenging his friend. I mean, it happens. And we see characters turn. We
I know, but
see
is it
arcs
avenging your
change.
friend when you literally betray their final wish to do something that at the end he said don't do that? Like that
Did
was
he
his final
specifically
thing.
say don't kill him?
No, but he said like my way was not
Exactly.
right. You're doing things the right way. Like, and then he just does things what his friend said was the wrong way.
Because it broke him. I think you're missing the point of what is supposed to happen to his character. It's supposed to, it would probably, that could happen to literally any one of us. You assume you wouldn't in that situation. But again, you don't know. He just, like, think about everything he went through. It's not illogical to imagine he would break down and kill the man he just saw kill his best friend after all that he tried saving so many times. Like, it's not illogical, in my opinion.
I don't know. I just think it's like
I don't know.
it's
I
not
just think
illogical.
you have a lens that you view movies through, in my opinion, that it's interesting because it's
It,
like,
it's not illogical, but it is for his character. Every other character
I
could
don't
have
think
seen doing
so.
that, but he was the only one where I
You
was
act
like,
like
this
he
guy's
was
actually stable.
impenetrable.
But he was the
He
entire
made
movie.
it, but he wasn't though, because I keep saying he made it clear that he's been fighting, that he puts on this front, but this is very difficult for him, that he's been pushing his whole life. And we see that breaking point finally, because he talks throughout the film about how it's important to make a friend. He's here, he's making a friend, he wants to do good, he's trying to find light in the world. He's like, I don't mind doing that. He's grown. And then that gets snatched from him. And the fact that a person as good as McVrees, a person as determined as McVrees, with the spirit of McVrees, can break, shows that we are all human, that it is possible that anyone can be broken down, that the world can be that unfortunately dark place. Like, I just don't think everything has to work out exactly the way a character intends it to work out in every single movie.
I just think it's dumb that he only
Yeah, I
broke
know,
in
I
the last
know.
2 minutes. Like,
I
bro,
know.
you couldn't have broken when the last 48 other people died.
Yeah, well, I think
He
it's
had 10 other friends there. He couldn't have broken for
but
them.
obviously the relationship he has with Garrity is a lot. First of all, he doesn't have 10 friends, and the relationship he has with Garrity is clearly heads and shoulders different than the rest of the people in
I
that
know,
group. And to
but
say we don't see every time, to see we don't see it chip away at him a little more and a little more when another person dies, we see it chip away at all of them a little more. Even the people who act like bullies end up like starting to change the more they see people die over and over. So I don't know that I can agree with your criticism in this case, because I think we see that slowly chip away until he finally breaks at the end, when it's too much for him to bear with Garrity, when he did not expect to win. So I don't agree personally.
all right, that's fine.
I love this movie. The last thing I wanted to say on a light note before we move on, what if the tanks needed to like stop for gas? Because they never
Well,
stop.
how long can tanks go?
I was
Can they
thinking
go
about that.
350 miles or whatever?
I don't know. I've never thought about it. I was just like a fun thought. And also, they said that the major, by the way, we didn't talk about Mark Hamill really. I thought he was great as well. He was really funny, but he talked about balls a lot. But you got sacked, kid. But where did he shower? They were like, yeah, he showers.
He
Where?
like showers at night. I guess he just drives a tank or like a Jeep
Does he like
off.
catch up to them? Like, where does he? Because they're not stopping, so they gotta get like where because there's no tank shower. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, okay. I do want to say about Mark Hamill, I don't know how I feel about it because I thought his performance was very cartoonish, but I kind of think maybe he was trying to be like that. Like he's putting on a performance for the kids that are walking because he felt very like very of a caricature of who the major's supposed to be. Do you know what I mean?
That's the word, but I think that's the point,
Right,
of the
okay.
character a little
Because
bit.
like
And I think
if that's the point, I like it, but if it's not, then I'm like, he's just bad. It's just bad. But I
no,
don't know.
Mark Hamill's not bad. Give him the benefit of the doubt. I think I think all the characters are almost caricaturized a little bit, but especially the major is a
Yeah.
different kind of like, where I think he's supposed to just be so ridiculous. I
Because he
think
was
we're supposed
never
to find,
intimidating.
but I don't think he should be intimidating as much. And I think he is to the characters, and he should be. But I
Yeah.
think he's supposed to be a little more over the top ridiculous.
Okay, because that's what I was looking at. I kind of that's kind of what I was leaning towards. I was like, I think he's putting on like a performance. He's on TV. The kids, he's trying to rile them up and get them fucking walking.
It's supposed to be very nationalistic. There's
Yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of patriotic feelings, and I think that's the point. And so I don't know. I don't necessarily like he's a rah rah guy, and I think
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
I think that's what they were going for. So
Hmm.
you know, you're right. His performance was a little cartoonish, but I think that was the point, and I think he plays that well.
Yeah, he does play that
So
well.
it was funny, yeah. And he did mention a lot of sack.
He
He
loves
talked about
sack,
he
dude.
loved sack in this movie. So anyway, that's pretty much what I got on this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have much else. That's pretty much it, actually.
All right, so that's The Long Walk. It was pretty cool. Be on the lookout for the next sequel film, The Long Skate. So that'll
The
be
long
out.
skate.
Dude, that's like Run, and then they came out with Run
Oh
2, and it
yeah,
was just the fucking
Run
skate
too.
movie.
Yeah, I remember that.
Anyway, I don't know. That was a niche joke, I guess,
That's
but
terrible.
I don't know about terrible. It was just niche.
Okay.
Coming soon to theaters, and moving on, they just announced the title for this new sequel to the Super Mario Bros. Movie, which is going to be the Super Mario Galaxy movie. So we're going right to Galaxy. They announced it's in theaters in April 2026. Chris Pratt, Charlie Day, Anya Taylor-Joy, Jack Black, and Keegan-Michael Key all expected to return. I'm sure more people as well, but at this point, that's who we know are expected to return.
No Seth Rogen announced yet?
Not yet. I'm sure he will be, but he's also a very busy guy right now. We'll get to that later.
Mhm.
But I'm sure he will. This is just what I've seen so far. So, Super Mario Galaxy movie. That'll be the runner up now to the Super Mario Brothers movie. What do you think of that?
I love the Super Mario Galaxy game. I'm trying to think of like what characters I want to show up because we know we're getting Yoshi. Yoshi was like an end credit for the last one.
Probably
Um,
Daisy.
Daisy. I want Wario and Waluigi, but I don't know how they fit in a Galaxy movie. I kind of wanted this to be a trilogy. Super Mario Bros. Movie, Super Mario Bros. World, or whatever Super Mario World movie, and then Super Mario Galaxy.
I agree. I was surprised to hear that they're going right to Galaxy. And that's kind of why I wanted to make a little time for it today to bring it up, just because of that specific announcement where I was like, wow, I mean, like, what are you going to do after Galaxy?
Right, well, Smash.
Doesn't that feel kind of soon? I feel like there's so many.
That's Avengers Endgame.
There's
That's
so many like Mario characters not established yet. How are we going to jump to? Yeah, you're right. Smash is like the Avengers Endgame.
I know. Well, that's what I'm saying. How do you add Wario and Waluigi to a Galaxy movie? Like where do they fit? Like I know. I'm assuming we're gonna get Rosalina because she's got the star.
Right, but how are you going to introduce Rosalina and like Luma or Luna or whatever?
Yeah, Luma,
but not Wario and Waluigi.
Right, and they would have been perfect villains for a second movie.
Yeah.
But now that it's Galaxy, I think that's too much. Like they can't. They can be side villains maybe, but I don't really know who.
Wario and Waluigi deserve to be more than side villains, or I mean, I don't know, maybe not because like they're not like Bowser level villains. They're like anti-heroes.
They are kind of like anti-heroes.
Maybe
I don't remember
treated as such.
I don't really remember who the villain in Super Mario Galaxy is. I haven't played that game in years.
Me neither.
I don't remember, but it's a great game, and I'm excited for it. Do you have anyone like you want to be added to it, or any like plot you're interested in?
Dude, I want my boy Monty Mole's got to make an appearance at some point. And
he's like the main. They announced the Monty Mole movie after.
Dude, that like we're talking about the Conjuring as a franchise. Obviously, you could turn like a Super Mario Brothers animated movie franchise.
Oh yeah,
I'll take the Monty Mole movie any day.
Well, people are saying maybe Luigi's Mansion after. You kind of got that cool. A little bit in the first one where he's in the mansion, but maybe he like goes back there and he like owns it. And Charlie Day as Luigi screaming in a haunted mansion for 2 hours.
Yeah, that would be
so
pretty
funny.
Cool. No, I could see them doing that route. I also think like, it'd be cool. I mean, I know that I want to see them incorporate sluggers, just because that was like one. Like I want to see it like
That'd
them
be
playing some
sick.
baseball. I love sluggers. It was one of my favorite games. So like I don't know, that'd be another one. Just like all the Mario games.
Well, it would be cool if like the beginning of the movie was them just playing sports in the summer or something. Like they're playing because there's Mario soccer. It's like I forget what it's called, but there's soccer, there's Mario tennis, there's Mario golf. Super Sluggers is amazing.
Dude,
Like just a
imagine
compilation of them having a good time playing sports.
imagine if so we were saying like obviously Smash would be like the ultimate
Yeah.
the ultimate like end game for this universe. How would they handle Sonic, cuz there's the Sonic movies as well? Would they have to integrate like the Ben Schwartz Sonic movies into this franchise like the MCU does with the Toby movies,
Yeah.
where like
Well,
Sonic just comes out of a fucking portal,
that's
out of a
that's true.
ring, out of
Out
the
of a
fucking
ring
ring
in like different dimension.
on
Well,
your left.
that's crazy because like I mean they're different companies that own them, but I guess they have like video game overlap. But I don't think they're gonna have movie overlap, you know?
Well, yeah, I don't. I mean, look at like we always say with Marvel, the rights and everything. So like, I have no idea.
Right, because like Spider-Man can show up in a Marvel video game, but he can't. He couldn't show up in a Disney movie.
Right. So
So
it's
that
it's complicated.
it is complicated. I've seen a lot of fan casts of Danny DeVito as Wario. I
Yeah,
think
I mean
that could be
that's
really
like too
good.
perfect.
That's like so good. But I'm excited because the
Then you
best
got to make Glenn Howerton Waluigi.
Waluigi, dude, that'd be so good. The best part of these movies is like the announcements beforehand of who each character is. I
Yeah,
think this
because
shit
then
was
you're
so
just like,
funny.
oh no way.
Yeah.
I will say that they did get the cat. I mean, outside of Chris Pratt, it was fine.
Honestly,
Whatever.
I'd say outside of Donkey Kong, bro.
Yeah, I know Seth Rogen. It was just Seth Rogen, but like he does. He's like Seth Rogen. He kind of talks like I don't know. Makes
He
sense.
talks like a
Anyway,
giant ape.
Donkey Kong. So
Yeah.
that's the Super Mario Bros. I want to keep this train moving.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you have any other thoughts, but I am looking
No.
out for that one. Excited, April 2026. So anyway, before we get to the Emmys, real quick, last week we talked a bit about the SNL cast shakeup, and I read to you. I was like, all right, Variety is reporting that this is the finalized cast list, and then like a couple days later, it was like, psych, not the finalized cast list, because we found out that Ego Wodem, after 7 seasons, is leaving Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
One of the stars of the show. So I wanted to just bring that up and get your quick thoughts as a fan of the show. I'll just say this: according to her, she chose to leave after 7 seasons. But meanwhile, I'll say this, because her and Heidi Gardner are like the two big ones that are not coming back for season 51.
Mm-hmm.
Heidi Gardner's contract wasn't renewed.
They didn't want her back.
Well, she hasn't publicly commented, so we don't know for like I can't say that they didn't want her back for sure, but they didn't renew the contract. She didn't say that she left on her own, and we know that they didn't like ask her back based on
Okay.
that. So I don't know. But Aga Wodem herself confirmed like, no, I'm choosing to leave after 7 seasons. But Heidi, maybe they didn't ask her back. And Lorne Michaels was we're going to talk about the Emmys at a minute. He was at the red carpet. They asked him about it, and he talks about like the cast shakeup is like what keeps the show fresh and relevant. Like we do it, like we bring in new writers and cast members, not because people are doing bad necessarily, but because, we need to keep changing and evolving. That's how
I
the
get
show
that.
stays relevant. I get that too.
I don't really have much to say. I mean, I liked Ego Wodem. I thought she was great, but I'm not surprised that anyone's leaving after 7 years. I feel like that's pretty common. Like
Yeah.
5 to 10 years is like where people are like, all right, I want to go explore new things. I want to do different stuff and get into a different sphere. Uh, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, she was great. She'll be missed on there for sure. Like, I feel like her presence will be notably noticed. Her missing her presence will be notably noticed that she's not there for the first couple episodes, maybe. But after that, I feel like if the new cast is good, it's not going to be anything like we're going to be thinking about much.
Right. I mean, this is just the natural evolution of the show. It
Yeah,
always comes to the point where our favorites, say goodbye. That's
yeah,
just what it is. So, she obviously not much else to say other than just highlighting it, but because we talked about the cast last week, then they threw this wrench at us right after we recorded and uploaded that episode.
It's something always like a day or two later.
I know, it's like, of course. I'm sure right after we finish recording this one, there's going to be something that comes out like huge. And then people are like, how did you not cover that in this week's episode? And we're going to be like, well, fuck us. That's why.
Yeah, that's why.
So anyway, but congrats to Nwodim on 7 great seasons. She was obviously a lot of memorable moments. So she'll be missed from that show.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to greater things. That's what we're going to do. We're going to move on to greater things before this episode is done. We have to recap the 77th annual Emmys that happened on Sunday. And we're going to do so with a surprise special guest. Ladies and gentlemen, you know him and love him. He's an Emmy winner himself. Killian is back. His second time on the show. Could have been third if he had answered the phone a few weeks ago.
That's true.
He's going to come on and we're going to just recap the show and the winners and losers and our thoughts, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Right. So for you guys listening, he'll be on here in 1 second, and for us, it's going to be a lot longer than that.
Hopefully not, but we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see you in a minute.
And we're back. No time at all missed for you at home listening. And like we said, we're here with a surprise guest. Here to talk about the Emmys with us today is a winner of them himself, Killian. Welcome back to the show.
Hey guys, I'm back. I
back,
couldn't
buddy.
stay away. I appreciate you guys having me again. This is a big surprise. Josh kind of told me last second, but I'm really happy to be on board. I mean, I watched the Emmys. I didn't watch a lot of the shows, but I'm happy to be here. So
You know what? It was funny. I just last night I was like, hey, like Kill. I know. I like you texted Sunday. You were like, I'm watching the Emmys. I should have thought of it then, really. But I was just like, oh, that's cool, whatever. And then last night I was prepping. I was getting ready my notes for this segment, and I was like, we should have Killian on to talk about the Emmys. I was like, this is very last. I was like, this is very last second, but I'm going to pull some strings and see if I can get it together. And I figured, I was like, there's no way it's going to happen. I was like, you're probably going to be busy. It's so last second.
I'm a busy guy. You caught me on a good day.
You're a busy guy. I caught you on a good day, and it was meant to be because I thought of it, and you happened to be prepared at the right time, meaning it was meant to be.
You penciled us in.
Well,
we appreciate it.
Well, yeah, I know. No, I'm glad I did. And I'm expecting to see Josh next week. I'm going on a trip with him. So I was kind of like putting aside all the hangout stuff. I have some cleanup work to do, being productive. So this was a nice surprise to see Josh's very nice mug tonight. So I appreciate you guys inviting me. And you too, Jack. I mean, you look very dashing as always.
Oh, hey, we were just pointing out your beautiful haircut, dude. I feel like you're
thank you. Yeah. So
there
I bleached my hair and you could barely see it because I bleached it before I cut it, or I didn't cut it, but I would never cut it. It would not
handsome
look great.
fella.
But I thought this is the shortest I've had in like probably 4 or 5 years. And honestly, I dig it. I want to dye it soon, but it'll take a couple months to grow first. But thank you.
I do want to preface our Emmy talk by saying I only watched parts of the Emmys, and I haven't watched most of the shows that won awards. So I'll do my best to. Yeah,
you
Jack doesn't watch
busy.
TV.
Well, you can take a little breather, get a coffee.
You can like read a book, do some homework,
watch some of the shows.
Yeah, catch up. Put on the Emmys while we talk about it.
I did see the only thing I saw. Maybe this is jumping ahead, but the only thing I saw about the Emmys was Nate Bargatze's donation to the Boys and Girls Club.
That's actually where I was going to start. Funny
that
enough.
Was so funny.
So yeah, it's a good bit.
I'm going to say this about Nate Bargatze hosting this show. I normally find him very funny. He's a very funny guy. I felt he came off as very stiff and nervous the whole night, and a lot of his jokes did not land, and it was just every time he came on screen, I was like, oh God, what's happening now?
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like he's usually pretty stiff, though.
Yeah, but this was in a way that it maybe he was just playing it. Maybe he wasn't actually nervous, but it came across as nervous, which is understandable. He's on live TV hosting a show bigger than a crowd that he's bigger than he's ever performed for, a bunch of celebrities and then millions of people all around the world. So like, I get it, but it just came across as unprepared and unprofessional. And the boys and girls charity thing was really funny at first and then became really nuisance and awkward throughout the night when they kept interrupting people's speeches with the charity donation meter in
I
the
kept
corner
thinking
just
on
going
YouTube,
down.
that thing is just always going to be there when their family wants to watch it. When you want to look back in 5 years from now, you just see that timer. You're like, whoa, that's kind of
Yeah, you
weird.
see like them
That's
taking money
true.
away from the Boys and Girls Club, and it's
I
like,
Well,
yeah,
to,
I mean, I'll say like I think that it was a good like stunt. You know, it got us all aware of the foundation. The foundation. It got us aware of what this is about. I mean, yes, it was the butt of the joke, but like in all fairness, like we all knew he wasn't gonna not donate money. You know,
oh
like we all
yeah.
right,
knew it was
yeah,
for
yeah.
the fun of the
I
joke.
think it ended at like negative $60,000 by the
He
end of the
made some
night.
money.
Well, I think
Yeah,
it's
he
like
made money.
I think it's like kind of
Smart.
telling. It's kind of telling that he told them all, "Hey, if you go over 45 seconds, you're taking money away from children in need." And a lot of them went over. Like they did not give a fuck.
Because I mean, like it's
It's
just
You
yeah,
can't
it's a
defend that. You
stunt.
cannot
It's
defend
a
that.
yeah, it's
stunt.
the joke. I mean, they did
It's
that
a
at the
joke, and like
Oscars with something, and
they
when he
do
was
something every
announcing
time.
what he was doing, I was like, "Oh, we've heard this before." But I thought it was pretty creative. Like, I thought it was very funny at times. It was very funny at times. I was like, "All right, this again." But it almost felt like he wasn't there to like host it with his personality. He was there to do that joke. Like they hired him specifically
Oh
to
It
do
was
yeah,
that
I
joke.
could
literally
see
one of
that.
the
I could see that.
the only thing the whole night. He kept coming
Yeah.
back out and being like, "How much money? Okay." And now there were times, like literally, when I say I'm professional, there were times where he got people's names wrong that he was announcing.
No way.
He like I don't know if you noticed that, Killian. He was like announcing the next presenters, and he like flubbed the name of the presenter. And at the end, you could see him like go like this, like shake his head
I
as the
thought. Well, I
camera
mean, he
panned
fixed
away.
himself a couple times
He
though.
did, but it just was like, oh man, this guy's like way in over his head tonight. Like it just felt that way. Like when you watch Conan hosting the Oscars earlier this year, it was very smooth and very like, he knows what he's doing. He's on top of his game. Like this just felt to me like, yeah, like you said, he's there for this one joke, and then he's like kind of fucking up the job itself of like announcing names and keeping the show smooth and like, it just felt very like by the books and very like, all right, this guy's like trying, but it's coming off as awkward.
Maybe we should have prefaced the audience what the hell we're talking about. I'm starting to think like, wait, did
Yeah,
we
if they
did we
haven't seen
cover what
the
we're
the
saying?
Emmys.
It like so I mean, Josh, you explain it. You're the better person to explain it.
Mm.
What, with the boys and girls thing?
Yeah, what
Yeah, I
is
feel like
the
it's like
joke?
every what was it like every second you go over that he
Oh,
takes out
so
$1,000.
basically and every award show, like you were saying, Kill, tries to implement some kind of joke or thing or bit to keep the presenters in line. So when you say like, oh, they're taking money from kids, no bit is going to keep you from not talking in that moment. Like that's your moment. You know what I mean? But yeah, the basically Nate Bargatze, I think, started off with like, what was it, $100,000 to the Boys
Mhm.
and Girls Club, which is just a foundation that donates, helps charities, whatever. He had JB Smooth there helping explain it throughout the night, and basically you had 45 seconds, and for every second you went over that in your acceptance speech, they deducted $1,000 from that 100,000. But every second you didn't go over the 45 that you saved, they donated another 100,000 or another $1,000 to it. That was the bit. So Seth Rogen went up there and was just like, all right, thanks, good night, every time he won. And
Yeah, nothing else to say.
it added money to it. Meanwhile, people went up there and were like, rambling, and it took away. So that's what the gag was. Really funny at first, took away from it after a while, though. I thought it was getting annoying, but that was just me.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
But that was that. Let's move on to the actual, main part of the night, which is the winners. So basically, the way I organized my notes was just I'm going to start by like talking about shows and like which show, how much they won. You'll see kind of like you guys like how the flow of the conversation will go. We're not here so much to talk about our thoughts of the shows, like in depth, maybe quick thoughts, but not in depth. It's more so much just the night and like who we thought deserved to win maybe, or like our favorite moments, things like that. Just recapping it.
Mhm.
Start off by talking about the studio, because I feel like that was the big winner of this Emmy season. The studio finished with 13 Emmy wins, including Outstanding Comedy Series, Lead Actor in a Comedy, Directing in a Comedy, and Writing in a Comedy. This broke the Emmy record for most wins for a show in its first season, which was previously set
Hell
by
yeah.
The Bear, which had
Oh.
10 in 2023. So the studio and Seth Rogen coming away with 4 Emmy wins himself on the night as well. So that was really cool. This is a great show, Jack. You need to watch this show.
I know.
Of all the
Absolutely.
shows that we're going to talk about, this should be one of the top ones, because the satire and the take that it has on the studio, like on the industry, like it deserved, I think, to do very well in the comedy category. And we're going to talk a little bit more. This is a stacked comedy category. There was a lot of great shows.
Yeah.
But the studio, just incredible work by Seth Rogen, such introspective work.
Comedy's so back. Like after I saw that, and that was coming right off I saw Friendship in theaters, I was like, man, like the way that they're able to, modernize comedy where it's still you're getting raunchy jokes, but you're getting a little bit back and forth on it. Like the writing and the studio and the way it's filmed and just everything about it is just so freaking funny, but so well made. Like just honestly so deserving. Wasn't expecting Seth Rogen to honestly win, but I, honestly, I expected The Bear to just sweep again. I haven't seen it since season 1, but like, it's just one of those shows that's like, all right, here we go again. So it was just so fresh. I think there's a season 2 confirmed. I'm really
Oh, yeah.
excited. I know it's great. It's so good, Jack. You got to watch it. That should be your
I
your
know.
C or your C for this episode.
Well, I'm watching
changing
The
whatever
Bear
you say.
right now.
Oh, are
Which is
you?
funny that you said that. I'm getting there with these Emmy nominated shows. I'm on The Bear, and of course, the one I'm watching doesn't win a fucking Emmy at all. So, like, there's no point.
Sorry.
Yeah. I just want to say with the studio, the episode that it won for directing was the Oner episode, which is the one
Mhm.
when he goes to the
Episode 2.
house. Episode 2, and they're trying to get a one-shot take. It's with Greta Lee and Sarah Polley, and it's so
And
great
it's
because
shot as a one
it's
take,
shot as
right?
that's why, yeah, the
Oh, that's
film or the
cool.
episode is shot as a one take, and it's about getting a one take, and it's so funny. It's absolutely had me cracking up, and
Mhm.
it's so well done. It just deserves it. Like this show, I feel like shows have such a diversity of, like, Killian, I think we were talking about this, where like some shows like may look similar in terms of like
Yes.
how they're filmed,
Mhm.
but I think the studio, I think there's similarities to this shakiness, to this sporadic filmmaking, but the studio adds such like personality to it. And so it's very, I know we weren't going to get into the shows, but this show, since it won
Yeah,
the
well,
night,
it has such
I
a
just
stylized take on it.
yeah.
It's not just like, oh, it doesn't look gray. It looks like, oh, it's kind of has this like 70s, 80s vibe to it, like old Hollywood style, but it's also shot with insane cameras and there's great one shots and there's just great camera whips and it just everything just feels like it's exactly how they intended. It's very planned out. Even though it's really funny, it's a comedy at the end of the day. Like, just a very well made show. I definitely rewatch it.
And
It's
you
so
know
good.
what? The last thing I'll say is that they're able to make fun of themselves, because most people in this show are playing themselves.
Yeah,
You know, like
absolutely.
and so that they're able to come on and poke fun at all very real moments that happen working in the film industry, different aspects of it. It's cool. They even do an episode about award shows, and there's a
Yeah, we were
running
waiting for
gag.
it. They
There's a
didn't
running
say
gag,
it.
Jack. I got to tell you this. There's a running gag in the show, in that episode, where everyone that night goes up and thanks Sal Saperstein. Sal Saperstein is a character in the studio who's just like an assistant studio executive, played by Ike Barinholtz, who was nominated for an Emmy. And everyone kept going up and thanking Sal Saperstein. And we were waiting for someone the whole night to go up and thank Sal Saperstein on stage, and no one did it.
Seth
It was
Rogen
so
was up there like
disappointing.
4 times, and I
4
was like,
times, and he
once,
didn't
just
do
give
it
us
once.
one.
Well, I saw
'Cause what-
afterwards
Oh.
that someone asked him, why didn't you thank Sal Saperstein? And he literally responded, he was like, that's our joke, and I feel weird like making it, trying to make people laugh like in person. And everyone was like, dude, you should have done
Yeah,
it.
but you
4
know
times,
what?
though.
It's funny, and I'm jumping ahead of myself a little bit here, but Britt Lauer, who won for Severance, she had a page that she was reading her speech off of, and on the back of the notes facing the camera had an Easter egg for Severance, the upcoming season, and it said "Let me out," and it's supposed to be like her character Heliar and like her innie, and I thought that was such a cool, like, she's using this stage
I see.
accepting an award for an Easter egg for the show that, like, I've never seen that before. That's really cool.
That is cool.
It is cool.
So
Yeah, I like that.
Anyway, that's the studio. Moving ahead, you guys kind of covered my next note, which is the Bear. Speaking of which, we were talking about it had that record for most wins in a freshman season. This year, went home empty-handed, had 6 primetime categories that it was nominated in, probably more for the full show. Went home empty-handed. I was a little surprised that they
How
did
do you
not. I
feel
thought.
about it being in the comedy category?
Oh yeah, I
They
mean, I'm
joked
with
about
everyone
that.
else. It's comedy fraud at this, or it's category fraud, excuse me, at
It's
this point.
stupid.
I mean,
It should not be competing with comedies.
it has comedic elements that doesn't make it a comedy, in my opinion. And I feel like at this point, the show very much, like, I think this, like, when I look at the 2 categories this year, I look at the shows that were fighting in comedy and the shows fighting in drama. Comedy was a tougher category this year, in my opinion. And I feel like there's a chance the Bear walks away as the winner in drama. But I feel like people are starting to get turned off by that show because they keep pushing it in comedy every year, and it's not a comedy. So I agree. I love the show. It's a fantastic show. I think it's deserved the love that it's gotten to this point. I don't know why people have turned on it so much, but and I don't even agree with the criticism that it's gotten bad. I think the show is still maintaining quality. It's just that it's category fraud. I agree.
Mm-hmm. Well,
But
I
it
just
goes home
wanted your take
empty-handed.
because, yeah, if it wasn't drama, would it have won anything? I don't know.
Maybe. That's a good
Yes.
point. So, moving on, the Penguin came in. Speaking of a different animal, I guess the Penguin came in second
No
in the
penguins, no
Emmys.
bears. What are we doing here?
Yeah, what the fuck is going on? Lions, tigers, bears. Oh my. The Penguin came in second with 9 Emmy wins, but only 1 of those came on
On
the
the
primetime
broadcast.
broadcast
Yeah,
last
that was
night.
Oh,
crazy.
wow.
I was like, where are the wins? And then I look up on IMDb and it's like, oh, it won 9. And I'm like, oh, okay. And it makes sense. You know, they can't announce them all, but I was a little disappointed. I mean, as a person in film and TV, it's like, I don't know, you feel for the people that don't get to say their speeches, and I know it
Right.
can't. I get it. You know, the Oscars did that one year where they did the on commercial break, we'll announce it on like Twitter or whatever, and that was like a huge
That
mistake. And then
was
they during the
that was
show they were
terrible.
like, all right, like let's just send them on up on the like it was so embarrassing. But it is like, oh, okay, I would have left thinking the Penguin was not a good show if I had never heard of it or seen it, and then now it's like, oh wait, like you have to you have to dig a little bit.
Yeah, and it's funny because they do a separate ceremony beforehand. It's called the Creative Arts Ceremony. And I saw a joke online where someone was like, "Why is the primetime one not creative, not arts? Like, what do you mean creative arts?" But what I don't mind about it as much is that at least they still get a whole ceremony, not just announcing it online. It's just not televised for us to see. So we don't, like you said, we don't know who wins those awards, but they're happening and they get their moment, and that's great. And you can't fit everything into
Yeah.
the broadcast. But then, and I wanted to say this, I forget, this kind of slipped my mind real quick before. We talk about having 45 seconds to give your speech, and they do the stupid gags or they'll play music or whatever. Meanwhile, you have fucking Jennifer Coolidge, who goes out there and was rambling for like 5 minutes about some bullshit, whatever. I don't even know she was talking about. Like, they give, and this is
Yeah,
not just the
they
Emmys,
could
but
cut
like
that down. I agree.
they'll give presenters so much time to do a bit and then force the winners to have like no time to talk. And that's what we're all here for, is the winners.
You know, and
So
this is just like me, my thoughts, because I don't watch the Emmys every year. I've seen it last year and this year, so I'm on a streak. Maybe Josh will have a bet next year because now I'm starting to keep up with it a little bit more. But I feel like it's just bloated with filler and commercials. Like, and this is someone who's seen the Oscars like every single year, and I get it. Award ceremonies are not for everyone, and say what you will about them, but I feel like same with Grammys. I watched that this year or last year, and I felt like what is like you're getting the performances sure at the Grammys, but like they literally gave out I think less than 10 awards, and I'm like, what is the point of
no.
Yeah, that's
watching this.
crazy.
Like I don't
And
know.
meanwhile, it's like a
That's a whole
3-hour show.
conversation. It's
It's like
exactly,
a
that's what I mean. Is after the Emmys ended, I was like, well, what? Because I wanted, like, there was only one like edited together segment, and that was the Bob Hope Award, when it was like showing the background of those two actors who gave to
yeah, it
the
was Ted
donate, all
Danson
that
and
stuff.
Mary Steenburgen. Yeah,
Yeah, and it was like, wow, an actual segment they like produced for the show. That's cool, because whenever they'd make like this actor nominated for this or this person, like sometimes they just show one image, and then sometimes they would just show them in the audience, and I was like, where's the creativity here? Like, this is about like showing what they produce. Like, if I had no idea what the show was, like, I want to see a little clip. I want to
yeah. I
see
was gonna say we didn't even see
something.
any clips, Jack. There were no clips of any performances or shows throughout. It was just like
That's
pictures and like
weird.
yeah,
But again, it's
That's
3
super
hours.
strange.
Like, I get you have to scrunch time and, I want awards, I want everything, but, like, there's other ways to cut back and, like, use that time better. Yeah, Jennifer
Yeah.
right.
Coolidge. I
Well,
mean,
I mean,
they had
funny,
usually,
but
they did a performance. They were celebrating the anniversary of the
Golden Girls,
Golden
right?
Girls, and obviously, unfortunately, they're all passed away at this point. It's been like 40 years, and they had like Reba McEntire and a couple other people who I don't remember singing the theme song. Like that's like 4 minutes right there that you're taking on the broadcast. Like, I don't know, it just seems like a waste of time.
Yeah, and
Like the
it's
anniversaries are
nice. I
cool
get
if
it.
you have the cast. If you have the cast of the show, like the anniversary is a cool thing to do. Like the Emmys did that last year. They did like some cast would come back and did a little thing. But to have someone random just sing it, it just felt weird.
It
it
was a
seems
little clip
strange to
farmy.
not include clips of the shows. I mean, like, at least from everything I've seen from like Oscars or Emmys in the past, like they'll at least show like 10 seconds or even 5 seconds of like the actor just monologuing as the character, like a quick
Mhm.
clip. But they have shit like that takes 4, 5, 6 minutes. Like, that's just crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
stupid and just to fill time, but they don't realize what people actually want to see.
Yeah, like, show me why
Um,
this person was nominated. Give me
They
a
just
few
want stuff
seconds to
for
see
that.
it.
They just want
Or
stuff that they can post online these
yeah.
days, clips.
Or get you interested in the show. Like, The Pit
Yeah,
wound up winning Best Drama, but I still have no idea what that show is. Like,
Right,
a couple actors won awards, and it's like, wow, that's awesome, but I don't know what to. There's nothing telling me I should watch that performance, and that kind of
right.
sucks. I watched 3 hours. Give me something to take away
right.
with that.
So to wrap up with the Penguin though, the one
Yeah,
win it
to
did
to
get.
start talking about it. Actually, I
Yeah,
love
I
that show.
guess
It's so good. And Jack, did you
to
finish it? I know that was on your
I
seed.
never finished it.
Oh, come
I never
on.
finished it. I'm still halfway through.
Too busy watching
um
Sinbad, I see.
Yeah, love that shit,
I was
bro.
like, I don't have time to
Call
watch
back.
it, but I haven't seen Sinbad since 2 weeks ago. Maybe I should watch Sinbad again.
That shit's good, dude.
No, but Kristen Milioti was the only one to win on the primetime broadcast for her performance as Sophia Falcone. She
Mm.
gave a great speech. I personally loved seeing her passion shine through. You don't
Mhm.
see a lot of people who are that unapologetically passionate. I was just sad that Colin Farrell didn't win. I thought
Yeah.
he really deserved it. We're gonna get to Adolescence in a minute, so we'll talk about that. But I was sad that Colin Farrell didn't win.
Well, watching The Penguin is what inspired me to watch The Sopranos, which was long running, and both great shows. I love them both, but The Penguin being a limited series is so tight and so intentional, and there's just so much thought behind just making this. I think it was what, 8 episodes, um, and like Colin Farrell. I mean, like, Kristen Milioti is like incredible, like insane, possibly like on par with Colin Farrell, but Colin Farrell is unrecognizable. Like, even I still can't believe seeing him and hearing his accent and then seeing him as the Penguin, like one of the best performances I've ever seen. And I think, yeah, we'll get to Adolescence, and I think that performance is great having seen the show, but I don't think anything compares to Colin Farrell. I mean, he is just a
He
beast. What a performance.
he takes an interesting side character from the Batman movie and elevates so much depth, and obviously a character we know, the Penguin, from various adaptations over the years, and he just takes such a new gritty dark direction, and like the path you see his character go on from the start of that series to the end is like when you see like where he ends up, just this fully realized version of himself. Like it's truly just such a remarkable portrayal and performance. And I feel like he had a lot of momentum. He won awards at other award shows. I think he got the Golden Globe for it, but he falls short here, unfortunately. Deserves the recognition. And I'm glad Kristen Milioti got it. I heard Sophia
Mhm.
Falcone was not going to be back in the Batman 2, according to Matt
Mm.
Reeves. So I don't know when we'll see her character again, but we
Yeah,
want to
she's
see more of these
incredible.
guys. Yeah.
So
So
good. So good in everything, but she's outstanding. And that show is just so chilling. If you haven't seen The Penguin, highly recommend. Just insane. 10 out of 10. And Josh, before we move on to wrap things up with, do you think The Penguin or The Studio is a better watch? For like, let's say we're recommending to Jack. Jack, you have one show you could watch. Josh, what would you recommend him?
I would recommend this. Well, I think the studio is a better show, but I think that because you love DC, you would I would imagine you'd really like. I'm surprised you haven't finished the Penguin. I would imagine you'd want to see it. You love the Batman, right? So I
Oh yeah.
figured you would want to see the Penguin. I mean, I think the studio's so good that transcends those things. Where you'll be like, wow, this is such a crazy good show. But I'd probably be like, dude, you got to finish up the Penguin, and then
Well,
just
how long are the episodes of the studio? Because that's kind of how I base what I watch nowadays. Is like the
You could
shorter
fly through it.
episodes.
They're like 30
yeah,
to
they're
50
they're
maybe.
not
Yeah,
even like 30 to maybe 40
because some of
max.
the
Okay,
Penguin is
yeah.
over an hour, and I just don't have time for that anymore
Yeah,
to
that's
watch a show
fair.
like that.
If we could watch
It's
all the
fair.
shows, we would. We get it.
Exactly.
Even I don't. I mean, it's ironic because the real winner or the real runner-up winner on Sunday was Adolescence, which is one of the shows that I didn't see before the Emmys. I've seen a decent chunk, but not all. It's impossible to see all, I think. And I didn't see
But it's so
Adolescence.
short. Come on,
I know it's
Josh.
only
I
ironically
recommended it
it's
to
only
you.
4 episodes, and I
I
didn't
thought we
see it.
had something. I told you to
Damn,
Uh,
watch
that's it.
it.
Yeah, it's only 4
Oh
episodes.
shit.
It won 8 total Emmys, including 6 on Sunday, 3 for Stephen Graham. He won Outstanding Limited Series because he was a producer, as well as lead actor for limited series and writing. Totaled all 6 of Netflix's wins at the ceremony this year.
Wow.
Good for
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. No, very, very much. I mean,
I wanted to know your thoughts, Kel, because you've seen the show. So, it had a very good night, clearly.
it's been a great year for TV, and I'm someone who is very, very strictly movies. Like I've always been movies, and now I'm venturing a little bit more into TV and gaming, which is really cool. Never books. I would never read a book. But it's really cool because there's just so much variety out there and so accessible because we own the streaming services and stuff. So, it's just at our fingertips. Like, what do you want to watch now? And me and Sid will pick something. And we've watched a majority of these shows together. And watching Adolescence together was like just a crazy experience. We just watched the Monsters Lyle Menendez, Lyle and Kyle.
Mm.
What are their names? Whatever their names are, you know what I mean.
Eric and Lyle
Eric,
Menendez.
Lyle and Kyle.
Lyle and Kyle.
Lyle and
Laffy
Kyle
and
Menendez.
Taffy. Laffy and Taffy.
We watched season 2 of Monsters. Let's cut that, okay? We watched season 2 of Monsters, and I think it was like episode 5 had this crazy one take, and it was just like on a dolly, slow moving. I don't know if you guys saw it, but honestly,
Yeah.
just a jaw dropping episode. You get a lot of the introspective and a lot of what this show is about and how these characters are feeling, what actually happened here, and just a really like insanely good 30-40 minutes of television. And I remember recommending it to my coworkers. Like maybe the series, again, say what you will about it, I get it's controversial, but that one episode like is still chilling thinking about it. And then Adolescence drops a few months later, and that is also a one shot 4 episode. Like, there's ways of doing one shots. I'm a sucker for them. Absolutely love them. And I don't mind like the 1917s where yes, it's a majority one take, but we do these cuts which are really cool and seamless. But when it's a true one take, like it just, and it is, like it's just unlike anything else you've seen. And Adolescence definitely proves like, you could tell a story in any way, shape, or form you want. And the way that was told through this one take for each episode, all the episodes taking place in different settings, maybe focusing on different parts or characters of the story. Yeah, just again, I say this word chilling, but when you do a one shot in a movie or a TV show, you want that chilling effect. You want that suspense and you want that realness to it. If you haven't seen Adolescence, which I know both of you haven't, like, I know TV, I know time, I know there's so much to watch out there, but like, what a great story over time. It just really says a lot to what we're consuming nowadays. That's not the theme of the story. It's just like, this is the way to tell that story. This is what it's providing us. The perfect way to tell it. I don't want to say much. I don't want to spoil it, but it's just
Yeah.
totally deserving of the awards it won, and especially cinematography. I mean, that's an obvious one. I know it won camera work, which is totally deserved. Yeah, I can't say much. That's the thing. Just watch it. It's really good.
I'll add it to the list.
Yeah, no, me too.
The back burner.
It's on my list.
Yeah.
Moving on to a show that none of us have seen, The Pit. The Pit had a
Yeah,
great night though.
All the winners.
Let's-
Josh watched everything but the winners.
Yeah, facts. I really did. And it's like you described it very well, Kill. It's such a me thing to have, and it's like, oh, I watch all these fun shows, and none of them won. But the Pit had a great night. It had 5 wins overall, 3 on Sunday. Noah Wyle, long deserved for outstanding lead actor in a drama, and it also won outstanding drama. We'll get to that in a minute. But Catherine Lanassa won supporting actress for drama, and I found this interesting because she beat out 1, 2, 3, 4 White Lotus actresses, and obviously the White Lotus generally does very well at the Emmys. So she beat out, and someone from Severance, to be able to win that, and she's a relative unknown. So that was obviously quite the success for the show. That's why I had such a great night. I'm not sure people were expecting that. None of us really know who she is or her role. So that she was able to beat out people like Parker Posey and Carrie Coon and Amy Lou Wood and all of that, and Patricia Arquette like that. I think that's telling that she probably does very well in the show. So I wanted to highlight that. But a great night. All I'll say about The Pit, from what I can gather, is this is a return to the type of television that we used to get, where it's very yearly and episodic. You get like 18 to 20 episodes a season. They're shorter. It's not this very like wide scale, grand cinematic experience, prestige, like something like Severance or, you know, some of the other shows that we've highlighted, or The Penguin maybe. So The Pit is, like, to me, this is a signal that people want maybe that return a little bit to regular kind of television.
Well, The Pit is crazy, dude. I've only seen 1 episode of it, and
It's more than
apparently
I
it's
have.
like apparently it's the most accurate depiction of like hospitals nowadays that has ever been shown to TV. I mean, the idea of The Pit, I don't know like the actual plot, but I know that each episode takes place every hour of a 12-hour shift at a hospital.
Wow.
I thought it was
12
15. I thought it was 15 hours.
Maybe it's 15, but it's like it's 1 day's worth of and everything. So the first episode's called 7 a.m. Next episode's 8 a.m. Then 9 a.m. and then so on.
Wow.
And it's like this is 1 day at a hospital. That whole idea is just fucking insane to me.
Yeah, I'm very intrigued by this show. Like, I'm definitely, it's high up on my list of shows I'd like to get to as well. I don't know how long the episodes are either, but I do know that's
I think
the
they're all
concept.
an hour. I think that's.
And you know, Noah. All right, I guess that makes sense.
I
actually.
think that's how why they do it.
Noah Wyle is was on ER for many years too. So like, you know, he has, like, he's not a doctor, but he knows, like, he's done that kind of show before. So I mean, it seems like, and they got another season rolling out very soon. So it seems like a show that's really taken off. It could be here to stay for many years.
I think so too.
Real quick, The White Lotus highlighted it, went home empty-handed as well yesterday, despite being tied for the most nominations this year.
Wow.
This is a show that usually we say HBO writes the check and they get their awards. But it lost out, particularly that supporting actress category. No wins for The White Lotus. Season 4 is still moving forward for it, though, and they said that it's going to take place in France, I think. If there is one actor or actress that either of you would love to see in that setting of a show, I don't think either of you really watch, but in that kind of show, who would you like to see, like, on a vacation, murder mystery vacation?
John C. Reilly. I mean, I got
John C. Reilly.
John C.
That's a good
Reilly's always so good, and I think he could play drama because it's a dramedy. You know, I think he can do both.
What if I threw Steve Buscemi out there?
That's a good one. That's a really good one.
And
You know
those
what's
two
funny?
particularly in the same season.
Season 3 with Thailand, it was supposed to be Woody Harrelson, and then he had to back out because of his real vacation, and I thought that was so funny.
Yeah, that is
So
funny.
anyway,
And then that was Walton Goggins' character, or no?
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Definitely, I don't think it was Sam Rockwell's character talking about how he wants to be a tiny Asian woman getting fucked.
I don't even know
Anyway,
what the fuck you're talking about right now. What
you
are
don't
you
need
going
to.
on about now?
That's actually the plot of White Lotus. Go watch it. Anyway, so Severance had a good but not great night, is how I'd put it. It won 8 Emmys overall, but only 2 on the primetime show, for Britt Lauer for lead actress in a drama and Tremel Tillman for supporting actor. Ben Stiller and Jessica Lee Gagne lose out in directing, as well as The Pit, to Slow Horses. That was definitely one of the big surprises of the night. Was let me make sure I get this right. Adam Randall from Slow Horses winning Best Directing. Sure, don't watch it, didn't know. Surprised to see Severance and The Pit both lose directing this year in that category. So that was definitely a surprise. But yeah, I was also sad to not see Adam Scott win over Noah Wyle. Not saying Noah Wyle didn't deserve it. I'm sure he does very great in The Pit. But I think Severance was a little underappreciated. I thought people maybe expected it to have a bigger showing than it did. 8 Emmys is still great, but 2 on the prime time is not much.
Well, let me know your thoughts on this, but like for me, having grown up watching the Oscars, it's like, okay, whatever wins, wins, whatever loses, loses. And then next year, new round of people. But the Emmys is very different because it's just season 2. It's like part 2 of this, part 3, part 4. So when you get those same shows winning over and over, to me, like that's exhausting. Like Severance had its flowers last year. I'm sure
Right, but
it's a great show.
Severance didn't win that many Emmys its first go
I
around.
thought it
Like
did. Maybe it's all the memes that's getting in my head though, but I thought it won a bunch of
But
awards.
I
I
see
thought
your
Ben Stiller
point.
won.
It's the same people constantly winning the same
right,
shit.
but Game of Thrones won the Emmys like
yeah, they won.
Yeah.
Best actor, best supporting actor, and best actress every
look at it this
year.
way. This is the best way to describe it. Better Call Saul holds the record for the most Emmy nominations without ever winning a single one. It got nominated over 6 seasons 53 times without winning a single Emmy, because in its early years it had to contend with Game of Thrones, and in its later years it had to contend with Succession. And both of those are fantastic shows that people are going to talk about for years to come. But better, like that's what I'm saying. It kept winning over and over, these shows, like Mad Men and then Game of Thrones, and then
that's funny because
Succession,
Breaking Bad also lost a lot of times to Game of Thrones also.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like I agree. The Emmys have this tendency, and that's just the nature of television as a medium, of course. But the Emmys do have a tendency to repeat in terms of who they're rewarding. So.
Yeah. And that's why I was, I don't want to say happy that the Bear didn't win anything, but it's just refreshing seeing, oh, wow, Seth Rogen on stage, It's nice.
No, I agree.
I agree. Variety.
As a fan of both shows, I was happy. So, I think the Severance will still get its due for like that big one where it wins best drama at some point. Because I don't think it's ever won best drama. And certainly the actors never won before this year. So I'm happy to see Tremel Tillman. He is one of my favorite performances in any TV show this year. So I love to see him get his flowers and recognize his mom. That was cool.
Yeah, that was sweet. I like when the people go on stage and they're actually like human beings and they like say something personal. I know you have a limited time, but when you start thanking everybody, that's half the time, and then you don't have much time to say anything else. But it's nice when they have one direct message they want to say, and it hits home.
Yeah. Hacks had a good but not great night. Jean Smart won her 4th Emmy in As Many Tries for her performance as Deborah Vance in that show. So she's 4 for 4. That, by the way, the show has 4 seasons. 4 for 4. She has never fucking lost. And Hannah Einbender. In fact, except now it's like 4 for fucking 448 or some shit. Damn tax
Would
coming
it be
for
444? You're telling me it's 448?
It's right there, man.
They need those 4 cents.
They do. They really do. I just randomly spit out a fucking number. Well, yeah, you're right. 444. That's what I should have said. Jean Smart. Jean Smart is smarter than me.
This
That's
is
why
how
her
the
name is
episode goes
Jean.
over every time because we get
This
lost in the
is.
little minutiae of the
I
side
know. Then I'm like,
jokes.
you're right. And like, I guess Jean Smart is okay. Anyway, Hannah Einbender finally joins her though, winning her first Emmy. I don't know how many times she's been nominated, but she finally wins for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a comedy. And she had one of my favorite speeches of the night, of course, because, she goes up there. She has the big end to her speech where she goes, "Go Birds, fuck ICE, free Palestine." I'm like, I love her.
She
It
said
was
that?
funny. Yeah, but the
That's
broadcast
crazy.
cut the fuck ice part because they cut
Yeah.
the curse, and I was like, "Oh my god, what did she say?" I was like, "What the fuck did she say?" I had no idea what she said. I went online, I looked it up. She said, "I have one more thing I gotta say." I say, "Go Birds, fuck ice, free Palestine." I was like, "Fucking like, you
That's
know,
hilarious.
go off." I love that. That is like,
Like a senior
she
quote.
it. I mean, yeah, but like honestly, it takes bravery for her to stand up in front of that room of people in the world and say a message like that and
Same as
I
just like
give
"Go Birds."
yeah
That's
facts
just
like
that's like
that's
how dare you fucking say that?
that's dangerous rhetoric right there.
Yeah.
So
We don't support that. Go
we don't
Birds.
support that here in this house, so I give her respect for that bravery. um there's some shocks on the night, other than her saying "Go Birds," and nothing else. Andor, one of the shocks it pulled off, winning Outstanding Writing for a limited series for the episode "Welcome to the Rebellion," or for a drama series, excuse me. Beat shows like The Pit, Severance, Slow Horses, and The White Lotus in this category. That was a huge surprise. I was so happy to see Dan Gilroy and Andor get some love.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what episode was that? Was that the Gorman Massacre? Or was that the finale?
That's the one when that's the one when he saves Mon Mothma.
Oh, that was a great one. Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so it wins for best writing. And like I said, I mean, I love Andor. I think it deserves more love. I think Andor is one of the most incredibly crafted and written shows, both in Star Wars' franchise, but just in the last several years. It's one of the most like gut-wrenching political thrillers that we've gotten
that
in some
crazy?
time. And so, like, I love it. I want to see more of that kind of stuff from Star Wars. I love Skywalker stuff, and I'm glad the Emmys, like, that kind of stuff doesn't usually get recognized. So to see it get such a primetime recognition there is cool. And like I said, I mean, like the Emmys did. We talk about like shows dominating, but it did spread it around. Slow Horses winning directing, Andor winning writing, beating out shows like Severance and The Pit. That's huge, right? So I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that's cool.
Well, it's a
The
celebration of TV, so even I've been recommended Andor a lot by both of you on the podcast. But seeing it win an award, it's like, oh wow, it's not just like for the fans, I guess. It's like actually good writing, supposedly, if it won an award for it. So now I want to see it.
Right.
So
Love it.
that's
Oh,
the
and it definitely
celebration of
is.
the Emmys.
We could talk Andor to death, Jack and I. I mean,
Yeah.
it's great.
I've heard.
The other shock of the
I'm just
night,
kidding.
the other shock of the night was Jeff Hiller winning Outstanding Supporting Actor for a comedy for a show called Somebody Somewhere. He beat Barinholtz, Sal Saperstein, but he also beat Coleman Domingo, Michael Urie, Eben Moss-Backrack, Bowen Yang, and of course Harrison Ford, who everyone thought was going to win his first Emmy at like 83 years old, but unfortunately he didn't. And that's not to say unfortunate for Jeff Hiller, because that's a big surprise, a show no one really seen. Huge for the LGBTQ community, and you could see the reactions of everyone's face. They seemed genuinely happy for him. And so, out of left field, but you love to see it, right?
Again, it gets
So
you
that was
interested in shows like I never heard of it, but now it's
never
on
heard
my
of it.
radar.
We're talking about in the podcast, we would never talk about Jeff Hiller and Somebody Somewhere, but now here we are bringing it up on the podcast. And if even one person who listens to this podcast goes and checks it out, even if it's not any of us, like that means something, right? I don't know. So
Yeah.
that's cool to see that happen. And moving on, Bowen Yang, like I said, was nominated. Speaking of SNL, they don't usually get much Emmy love these days like they used to. Obviously we see John Oliver collect his yearly Emmy in the variety category. But SNL did get love for the 50th anniversary special. It won 8 Emmys for that special, one on the primetime on the primetime episode broadcast. We got to see Lorne Michaels, still at 80 years old, go and give his speech. Love SNL. We were just talking about it earlier on this episode a little bit. So, to see it get some love 50 years on, you guys know me. I mean, I love that.
Yeah.
And probably my favorite moment of the night, one of my last things that I wanted to highlight was Stephen Colbert, who won the Outstanding Talk Show in
Jack
light of
called
the
it.
news of his cancellation. Yes, you did, Jack, actually.
Remember that, Jack? Last month you called
Uh,
it.
oh yeah, it's like when someone dies and you give them the Oscar, That's how it is with
Yeah,
Colbert.
but you know what? Like, I loved the irony of the Emmys being aired on CBS and the Late Show. It was funny. So Bryan Cranston was actually the presenter. He's out there announcing. There was only 3 nominees. It was The Daily Show with Jon Stewart. Everyone claps, whatever. Which actually, personally, I thought that should have won in terms of like
That's the only one I watch. It's good.
It is the only one that I actually really watched too. But then it was Jimmy Kimmel, and then it was The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. And I was also surprised Jimmy Fallon, they just were like, fuck that guy. He was not nominated this year. But, Stephen Colbert, like they announced him, he was getting such a crazy applause before Cranston. Cranston had like a smirk on his face before even opening the envelope. It was like, you all knew who was going to win. And it was still a great moment. Like maybe it was partly because of the news, sure, but it still makes for a great moment. And just to like, fuck you to CBS, like we can still celebrate the show and celebrate Colbert. He even was presenting earlier in the night and made a joke like, "Hey, anyone hiring in 10 months? Like, I kind of
I
need a
heard
job."
that, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I just was really happy to see him get his due and see him get the love and support that he deserves right now in light of the cancellation. And CBS had to air it, which I thought was funny. So it was probably the best
Yeah.
moment of the
Like you
night. I
said,
mean,
it's a good moment.
it was not like a crazy award show, as you can tell. Wasn't a whole lot to talk about when the highlight recurring throughout the night was the Boys and Girls Club. So I thought that made for the one like showstopper of like good for Colbert, like he deserves
Yeah.
that.
I was actually
um
surprised that RuPaul's Drag Race didn't win this year, and I guess it didn't win last year because Traders won then. And I've never seen Traders. I didn't think it was worth watching, but again, now I'm like, all right, maybe it's a good show.
Yeah, it's actually a good point that I didn't even have that one in my notes. I kind of skimmed past it, but you're right. Like, I actually think I looked at that RuPaul as one of the most decorated Emmy winners in history. And yet,
Yeah.
lately, the last couple of years, they're just kind of the tide is turning to a different show, I guess. But I've never seen The Traders. I mean, I've never really seen RuPaul's Drag Race, but I've seen like clips and stuff. It's a very popular show. I don't even know what The Traders is about. I don't know what the concept of the show is.
I
I have
think
no
it's
idea.
just like I don't want to guess what it is. I thought it was like an elimination show where like every episode someone gets out. I guess that's every one of these shows. RuPaul's does that too. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It looked different, I guess. I don't know. I'll have to watch it. But again,
It
the common
continues
theme
that
is now I'm
theme.
interested. Yeah.
The theme of we're interested, and the Emmys and the Television Academy is actually honoring new shows this year.
Yeah, because RuPaul's has so many awards. I've seen that show. I still watch it, but it's not going to prevent me from watching it because it didn't win an Emmy this year. Like it
Yeah.
is what it is. Now I'm interested in a new show now.
So that's pretty much it. That was all the big winners that we ran through in our thoughts. Gonna shout out some love to a few of the shows that didn't win that I still love. Abbott Elementary, Only Murders in the Building, Shrinking, and The Diplomat. I think those are 4 shows that are really good that I've seen that deserve a little bit more love from the Television Academy, especially Only Murders in the Building, which I think has ever won like one SAG award. I think Selena Gomez like finally won a SAG award for it, or maybe Martin Short or someone. But those shows didn't win any Emmys this year, but deserve a lot of love. They're really good shows.
Maybe next year.
Abbott Elementary
Better
used to
luck next
win.
time.
Yeah, there's always next year. It's like the Mets season. Always next year.
Yeah, I'm a Jets fan, bro. It's always our year this year, man. That's how it
Yeah, it's
is.
never your year.
It's
You're
rough.
Yeah, I know.
cursed from
Joe Namath.
Joe Namath. So yeah.
I think it might be time we move on to Seesaw. We close out the episode with some Seesaw.
Yeah, that seems to be about to it. Do you have any last thoughts about the Emmys, Kill?
I'm happy that you watched a lot of them. I'm sorry some of the winners you didn't see their shows, but
I know I
I
watched
guess
a
now
lot,
you
except
have
I didn't see
to.
the winners.
I
Hey, it
know.
gives me something to watch. You know, it's not
Yeah, it's
fun when
true.
you've seen the winners and then they're like, "Oh, watch the loser." You're like, "Nah, I don't really care." Like now it's like,
Yeah.
"Well, you won, so I got to see what the fuss is all about." So, congrats to all the winners of the 77th Emmys. And like Jack said, let's move on to Seesaw.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Who wants
How
to
do you want to do
start?
it?
Jack, why don't you go first? I feel bad. We did a lot of the
Yeah,
heavy
sorry,
lifting
Jack.
last
I
segment.
replaced you for a minute. I
It's all
hope you
right. It's all
enjoyed
right.
like the bathroom break and the coffee that you were
But
Yeah, it was
preparing.
hopefully,
great.
I will say, hopefully, this does inspire you to watch some of the shows when you get some free time as well. So,
Yeah, I got my whole list of shows I gotta watch. Which is funny because something I saw, I don't want to like get too into it, but something I saw, I'm currently watching Peacemaker season 2, and I
Mm.
do just want to say that that show is fucking awesome. I do think it's kind of like underrated by viewers. I think that James Gunn is pushing it because that's like his passion project and he loves it. He said it's the best thing he's ever worked on. But I fucking love Peacemaker. Season 2 is going on right now. It's great, and I can't wait to talk about it when it ends with you, Josh. Uh, and something you mentioned earlier on the episode, Josh, that is something I need to see and will see within the next few days because it just got added to Prime Video, I think, is Warfare. I'm really
Mm-hmm.
slacking on movies that came out in 2025. I have a whole ranking on my Letterboxd of 2025 movies, and Warfare's out, and I want to add it to the list. I want to see where it places on the list, but I need to watch it in the next few days. And I heard good things, so I'm excited.
sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was a pretty good movie. You should watch it. I'll go next. We'll best for last, more like guest for last. So we'll
Oh, I
save
love
Kill.
it. The new segment.
Right. Right.
Yeah, guests for last. So I'll go real quick. Something I saw last night was my first ever Akira Kurosawa film. I've never seen a Kurosawa film before. He's a very influential filmmaker, one of the most influential ones of all time that I've especially never gotten into before. So I watched the film Yojimbo, which is like the blueprint basically for the American Western as a genre, really, in terms of the narrative structure of like the good guy, the bad guy, the way the whole thing works, especially when Sergio Leone made a fistful of dollars. That was basically like a reinterpretation of Yojimbo, and so I watched it. Basically, it's about this guy, this nameless samurai who wanders into this dying town in feudal Japan, and he inserts himself into war between two people vying for power in the town, like two gangs vying for power in the town, and he tries to pit them against each other. Fantastic movie, really, really awesome stuff to see where a lot of inspiration for so many westerns but actions came from in the years since. So that's something I saw, something I want to see. I'm going to stick with Kurosawa here since I'm getting into him now. I picked two real quick. Two of his movies. I want to see all of them, but two that sounded really interesting. One is called Dreams. It's both of these films I picked are from later in his career. Dreams is basically a film he wrote on his own. It's just a fantastical tale, as he described it, of a collection of his dreams, his actual dreams that he had, he turned into a movie. So that sounds really cool. I've never really seen that as a concept done before. Love to check that out. Another one that I want to see is a movie called Ran. Basically, this was a late career epic of his where he reinterpreted Shakespeare's King Lear. And it's basically a 16th century Japan, another kind of feudal epic, where this warlord it's almost like Succession a little bit. He has to like divide, or Game of Thrones, where he has to like divide the kingdom between his sons. And the reason why I picked that one to highlight is because Akira Kurosawa, I'll leave with this. He used to say every time they asked him, "What's your best film?" he would say his next one, until he made Ran. And then next, when they asked him his best film, he said it was Ran. So
That's
he
cool.
seems to think that was his greatest achievement that he could make, which means I'm very interested to see it.
Maybe that's the last one you watched then.
Maybe, yeah. But it wasn't his last film.
No. I thought that's where you're going with. Until he died. And then it was the last
No,
one he made.
no, yeah, that would be funny. He kept making movies, but after that, like actually the critical like outlook was kind of negative on some of them. There was like a level of respect for him, but like people didn't love the work as much anymore. I think at that point he was trying to connect with like American collaborators. I think Spielberg had to help save one of his movies at one point to like get it distributed. So unfortunately, like many international filmmakers, his career had an unceremonious end. But years later, past his death, we talk about him as one of the all times.
Yeah, I mean, he's still very relevant today. Glad you're watching his movies.
What do you got, Kill?
Well, this is a good bookend for me because the last time I was on here a few months ago talking about Jurassic World Rebirth, I said, I just saw The Penguin. I want to watch Sopranos. I'm really excited. I'm in this mafia mob kind of craze. And lo and behold, I just finished it a couple days ago. So it's very exciting to be back here just to say that, it feels like this is a diary entry for myself. I finally watched it. I feel good. I feel like a proud New Jerseyan now. Really good show. I mean, I don't have much to say on it without getting into it. I had like a good discussion with my friend last night, and we talked for like over an hour. But
Yeah, we
very,
could have a
very
whole
proud.
episode dedicated to The Sopranos.
Oh yeah, there's just so many layers to it, and I didn't know the ending of the show. Not gonna say the ending to the show, but I will say I did like it. I was a little shocked at first, but I do like it now. What I want to see is John Lithgow in Dexter because I've been waiting to see him. I thought he was going to be in the season I just watched. Nowhere to be found. So we're starting season 4 today. We'll see what happens. I hope he's in the first episode. But I've heard he's great. That's one of the main reasons I'm watching the
like how
show because
That's
I've
so
heard he's
funny.
great.
I like how your C isn't the show itself, but specifically John Lithgow in the show.
Yeah, I'm watching the
You're
show.
hunting him
Like
down.
it's
What
not
if
my
he's only in
Saw.
like 2 episodes?
I think he's I don't know. I hope not. Don't spoil it.
It's a good
I
point.
don't know.
What if
I've
he's in
never
like
seen it.
what if he's in like 2 scenes? Like I don't
He
know.
very
I'm
well
only on
could
season
be.
1 of Dexter, so I don't know when he shows up.
What if he's like a phone call? Like you don't even see him.
He's
He's just really good.
He's like wrong number.
But he's using like a voice changer, so you don't even hear
Yeah, so
it.
you don't even know it's him. He's like uncredited. Well, I'm excited. I'm glad you're watching it, Jack. I mean, what do you think real quick about the show
Well,
so far?
I don't honestly I don't love Dexter so far. I'm on like episode 7 of season 1 and it still hasn't hooked me the way I thought it would immediately.
Yeah.
But I'm giving it a chance. I'll probably finish season 1 in the next few months cuz it's taking me a while to get through it, and then if I don't like it, I'll stop. If I like it, I'll move on to season 2.
I really recommend watching season 2 because I watched season 1 all the way back in January, and I kind of was like, all right, I'll shelve this for a little bit. I had Sopranos, I had some other stuff to catch up on, and Sydney really loved the show, and we were looking for something. So she's like, I was like, let's just keep watching it. Like, let's see what happens. Season 2 is like far better,
Really?
miles better
How
than season
many?
1.
I've never seen Dexter. How many seasons total is it?
How many series are there? There's like 8 seasons, and now there's like 4 shows or something.
Yeah.
So
It's insane.
there's a lot of work to do. I got
There's like
a little
a
bit
prequel,
before
2 sequels.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Maybe
got a
I'll
lot
watch
of
the one.
Dexter to
Maybe I'll
watch.
watch the One Piece after all.
Yeah.
That's what it is. But yeah, it's exciting. I'm very excited.
Well, this was a great episode. Thank you, Kill, for coming on, dude. We
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
appreciate it.
Oh,
Thanks
dude,
for having
you're
me.
always
I feel
welcome.
like I didn't even get to talk to Jack. I feel like wait, like
This
let me
is
call
just
you
you and Josh.
afterwards.
Yeah.
Just me and Josh hanging out.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it.
Hey,
Thank
you guys
again.
talked about Dexter for like a minute there. What are you talking about?
Hey, don't
No.
get jealous. There's enough of me.
Yeah.
There's enough to go around.
Hey,
thank you
where's all
again.
the
This was
attention on
fun.
me?
Yeah, we
It was
appreciate
great.
everyone who's watching this. Make sure you follow us at Box Office Dynasty. We're on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Spotify. Any final words from you two guys?
Go Birds.
And nothing else. There was no other parts to
Nothing
that
else.
message. Such a queen. No, but yeah, share with your fellow friends and film lovers, and yeah, man.
All right.
Kill,
Keep
you send
watching.
us off.
Love y'all. Take care. Good night.
Peace.
Go Birds.